was a good show.
Shabbat, Shabbat, come home and rest. Shabbat, Shabbat, yeah, how was best? Lay down the week, let your soul be free. Shabbat, Shabbat, come back to me. 6 days we work, then we bask. We leave the noise to hear Yah's voice. We listen, we learn, we struggle to know. We walk with Yah through the Mikra. Shabbat, Shabbat, come home and rest. Shabbat, Shabbat, yeah, how was best? Lay down the week, let your soul be free. Shabbat, Shabbat, come back to me.
Oh, marvelous. Isn't that a fun way to start the Shabbat Family Hour show?
Very.
Well, we have my brother by another mother. We're at the hip. I haven't worked with you, Kevin, since about it seems like 15 minutes ago, but I would assume it was a number of hours ago where we did what I thought was a really intense vlog on the vlog. The thing that was just gut-wrenching was the presentation of the ex-wife of the psychotic man who murdered Johann in Maine. And by the way, since that show, it has been reported to Congress that there were many psych workers and other professional counselors that knew this man was psychotic, that he was vicious, that he should never be trusted around knives, guns, or children or women, and that he was highly unstable. And that has now been reported to Congress. So she was absolutely right. That was powerful in the show, and I think just our evisceration of Trump and how he has lived up to the expectation and more. That he is the fearless one, the great betrayer, the person Christians would call the Antichrist, which is going to be a theme of this particular show, but for a very unique reason. We have Perry and the Leah seat. We're going to do a roast of sorts. I've got my roast shirt on, as you can see. We're going to do a roast of sorts, and Perry has had at least 30 minutes to prepare based upon the material we've been sent. And 30 minutes for Perry is like giving the rest of us half a day. So he will be on his game. We have Dr. Jeff. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm ready for the grill is ready for the ash, man.
Okay, man. We'll go forward with it. This is a favorite topic for you because you were demeaned in every which way by her, and as were you, Kirk. Quite often, there's going to be a person whose name we are not going to mention. And Kirk, we did the show, the vlog on the vlog 2 days ago. You recover okay? I mean, was that too early? I mean, I know you're feeling better. How'd that work out?
That's fine. It was fine. I enjoyed it.
Are you in your studio right now?
No, yeah, I'm out in the garage studio. Okay. And I've got art all the way down the way there. So.
Okay, you're well hung in your studio.
This way your portrait was done.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've got it right over in the wall over here. In fact, you can see the corner of it in this shot. So thank you. That's where it's hanging. I appreciate it very much. And you also did the Old Man in the Sea, which I had in the backdrop for a long time, but it kept on turning and wanted to fall on the floor, and that wasn't good for the frame of the picture.
That's not good for the frame. No.
So I hung it to the master.
Good.
It reminds me every day that it's the role. It's the Old Man in the Sea.
There you go.
JB, man, how's it going, brother? You were last week or 2 weeks ago. You were on a trip someplace. You returned.
We went to. We spent the first weekend in Omaha. They have like the largest zoo in America, so we spent the weekend there, and then we went from there up to the St. Paul area to visit family. So
okay. Your daughter is the ideal age for not that you ever get to be too old or too young for a zoo, but she is pretty much the perfect age for that.
Oh yeah, we actually have a membership to the Dallas Zoo, and we go 3, 4, 5 times a year. So
okay, I happen to be a zoo fan, so we were in the same area. I would join you on zoos. I think that particularly the new zoos where they create a habitat for the animals that is as natural as possible, that they don't look like they're in cages. They have a lot more room to move around, and they're treated with so much more respect.
Yeah. You would love the Omaha Zoo. They got a whole dome desert area. And then, they got like with the gorilla exhibit, it like is built into the middle of it. So you're kind of seeing them from all different angles, and it's really cool.
It's impressive.
All right. We have Rich over here on microphone. He is capable of bringing himself up in there he is. He just overrid Perry. This is the way they work together, all the time. It's Perry on, Rich on, going back and forth. But we have Rich here, and he's can chime in at any time. So this ought to be fun. I've got the Wookiee. He's you just saw him. He's dressed in a Craig shirt, and when sometime during the show we'll show Car off because she is really, really styling this evening, and wants to make a big show. Leia's probably involved in the chat room from her office, which is about 20 feet behind us here. All right, so we have a new song. I have not heard it, not seen it. I'm pretty familiar with the two words. And words, when they're combined, Zechariah would be the name of the second to last prophet. He is very interesting to me because of the way that he presents the two trees on either side of the menorah. And I think that's fascinating. But he also goes through what we should expect during the last days. He has a very interesting narrative on that. And he's the one that reveals that 2 out of every 3 Jews are going to perish during this 7 years, this time of trouble. And so Zechariah is one of the more important prophets. But it's particularly that discussion on the two trees. And I also liked in Zechariah the presentation of how the high priest Yosha was such scum that he was not credible going forward, and that God had to replace him. And God's replacement is described really as Dode. And it's going to be Dode that's going to anoint the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant when he returns, the Aaron of the Bereth, which was one of the first times that I realized that would be done in that era. And we grew tremendously as we made all the connections that can be made based upon that, and then fleshed that out throughout the story. But he's a marvelous prophet. Now, as two words, as it is presented here, Zakar is both a verb and a noun. It's like so many Hebrew words. We made a big deal last week of Na'ar, which is both a verb and a noun. And Zakar is one of those which I think has undergone considerable religious gerrymandering, because the noun version, it's like Bashar too, which would be a human herald. The noun version is said to bear almost no resemblance to the verbal root. And the verbal root and the noun version are spelled identically in all of these words, including Zakar. And I think that the likelihood that was God's intent, to have a verbal root and a noun based upon the verb written exactly the same way, having different meanings, is zilch. So I like to go to the verbal root, because everybody that has studied Hebrew or any ancient language know that the best way to define any word is based upon its actionable root. Zakar means to remember, to be memorable, to say something worthy of consideration over time. And Zakar as the noun is man. So if you were to blend those things together, it'd be memorable man of Yah. And, he uses it in that concept in a number of places. And Yahweh has 4 men and 1 woman that are particularly memorable in his story. So it could be, as a title, Memorable Man, or it could be Remember Yah. So either of those is a possibility. But it's one of my favorite parts of correctly rendering and completely accurately rendering Hebrew, is to scrub the words of their diacritical markings, and to recognize that if there is a a noun that has a verbal root that can be identified, and when they're spelled identically, it's, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to make that connection. But you always need to go to the verbal root. You did a lot of translating a while ago, JB. Was that your approach?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. So if you're seeing something in a lexicon and you read it, and the first thing you're going to do is to say, is there a verb that's spelled somewhat similarly that this is comprised of? And check out what the verb says. And most of the time they jive. Occasionally they don't. And when they don't, it's usually because of religious malfeasance. So let's play Zachariah. Yeah, do you know, first of all, Leah wrote it. She wrote the lyrics and the score. And she has a marvelous team that do graphics and animation and that sort of thing. Do you know who the graphic artists were?
Yeah, Depot and Mo worked on this. Yeah.
Oh, so Depot worked together with Mariah on it.
No,
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. First of all, I'm delighted to hear that, and I would really, since it's Depot and Mariah, it would be I think a real boon if we can get Depot as part of the regular rotation on the vlog on the blog, and also Mariah. I think that would be add lots of interest, and they're people who we all want to hear from.
Mhm.
So if you can
Oh,
arrange
yeah.
that would be great.
Yeah,
All right,
Depot's
so
absolutely doable.
Okay, so this is a collaborative effort on the graphics by our beloved Mariah and our also beloved Depot, and a song and score by Leah.
You knew my waking, knew my sleep, counted every thought I keep. Before the breath, before the bone, you saw the shape of flesh unknown. Wondrous works in secret made, a life you wrote before the day. You split the dark, you spoke the sea, you set the stars on paths for me. You raised the dust, you tuned the flame, and called the broken by our name. The earth still hums from what you've done, and the barren woman stands to sing her song. Oh Yahweh, you work so wondrous, clear as dawn and deep as thunder. You hold the night, you wake the soul, you make the lost and shattered whole. Oh Yahweh, your ways are true. The earth remembers what you do. When I was wild, when I was torn, you saw the child you'd always formed. Through every fear and every fall, your hand was there to hear my call. You write in blood, not in dust. You called us out from Mitzrayim, out of the captivity, out of the pain. You made a path through waters wide and brought the weary to your side. Now my very breath is testimony. My heartbeat sings of our story. Place to set apart light, from lost to found, from dark to sight. The work you do, the name you bear. Is there any likeness unto you, Yahweh? Yahweh, your works are wondrous, clear as dawn and deep as thunder. You hold the night, you wake the soul, you make the lost and shattered whole. Your ways are true. The remnant will remember what you do.
Marvelous. Oh my. Great lyrics, great music, great graphics. Yeah, that was a thumbs up on that one. That is an interesting story. As I said, there are 4 men and 1 woman that play the central roles in God's story. The 2 men are the greater and lesser luminaries of Bereshith, Genesis 1, and as their story develops, what you find is that Yahweh constantly supported his firstborn, Adam, who became Dod, with a mother and father, always consistently. Not for every moment of every life, but in every life, and in some lives for every moment of those lives. And it is such a heartwarming story. And we were in the midst of Yahweh with Noach and Shem, who is our Yada and Dod, accompanying Yahweh in their visit to Abraham in the Luminaries series in our last episode. And in that episode, I slowed down probably to a pace that was slower than any presentation I've ever made, because I wanted the meaning and the words to sink in. And what Yahweh was talking about during that episode is that his greatest miracle, and he's asking us to ponder it, and he's presenting it as such, that the most important thing that he has ever done is to choose on occasion to bring a certain soul into a certain womb at a certain time for a particular purpose. The first time he did it was not with Yishak through Sarah and Abraham. He would do it often. And it is how he achieved his primary ambition. And when you read the account of the garden and what transpired in Eden, and the failure of Adam, who we know as God's firstborn, that became Dod, he just didn't measure up. He didn't listen, didn't learn, didn't show any initiative, didn't work. He became very much like the Dod in the Bathsheba episode, and from that point to the visitation of the Amma and of Ethan Hajraki. And as a result, God realized that the only appropriate thing to do was tough love. He had to move his firstborn out of the house, because if he continued to coddle him, he would never grow. Nothing was going to make this work. And he gave him Chawa, and what he found is that one was not very good, but two was awful. And then what he witnessed after Chawa is 4 was murderous. And then 400 and 4,000 and 40,000 was so awful that God says, I shouldn't have done this. This was a horrible mistake. Man is evil every moment of every day. His every inclination is to be evil. When men became many and they came together, whether it was religiously, politically, geographically, whatever it was that drew them together, humans became reprehensible. God despaired having created us. And it's true. That's the story of civilization. And so that solution was ultimately resolved by Noach. And the story of Noach isn't about the animals or the Teba. It's about the 8 souls aboard the vessel of insights and who those souls represent and what they achieved and how God was able to reboot the system so that he resolved the problem, which is many men were awful, to start off again with a few men. They weren't all good. Noach was pretty much of a stalwart, and Shem did really well in that particular life. Calm, not so much, and yes, but that was the rebooting of the system. It's what gave humanity a fresh start. And we're going to have another one of those coming up in 7 years. So this idea of this woman giving birth and this child coming from the heavens is true. And this writing about this mystery of the flesh, because it's meaningless. It's what everybody focuses on. What did so-and-so look like? It doesn't matter. Their bodies were meaningless. The soul is way beyond 3 dimensions. And your soul matters. And it's God who chooses which souls he wants to work with and how he prepares them and how he deploys them and what he wishes to accomplish with them. And he can put those souls in anybody at any time of his choosing with essentially no effort. But yet he, in his discussions before Noach and Shem to Abraham and Sarah, said that this is his greatest miracle, his greatest achievement. Because by doing this, he could assure the success of his overall intent and plan without ever interfering with free will and without ever having to overpower us so that he became undeniable, which is something he never wanted to be. So he could continue to work through people, achieve what he wanted to achieve, and get the results he ultimately wanted. It just took 6,000 years and a fair number of hard knocks to get from here to there. So now here we are. So I think that song does a marvelous job of accomplishing that. We had an option today, this evening. We could have just continued with the Luminary series, and we were about to have the 2 fellows go down into Sodom. It's a gut-wrenching story. But something has come up. We have there was a very troublesome psychotic woman that was once in our midst. She's going to go nameless. I'm not going to give her that credit. Her name is meaningless to anybody other than the handful of people she's managed to beguile, deliberately beguile. She's a psychopath, clinically studied, determined psychopath. And she doesn't have any function in life. She has nothing going for her. And she was so close to being positioned for forever. And she just threw it all away. And when she threw it away, and every claim that she made, and she's made now 10 of them, Yahweh immediately refuted every single time that she came up with one of her posts hashtagging my name just so that somebody would find it, hashtagging my name, which people do. So she hashtags my name. They keep their own site under lock and key because they're not trying to help anybody. They're just a little den of snakes. But their public site hashtags my name to steal my credibility for them. And all they do is disparage me. And on that site this week, they posted a gross graphic. The post that they wrote had nothing to do with the graphic they posted, but it's just in their twisted mind, they wanted to post something that was vile, and they did. I did not read because I cannot read this individual's rants. My mind is very disciplined. You guys have been with me for a long time. My process is consistent. You study the words. You use exactly the same technique. You just study the words, the same technique to present the words. So my amplified translations haven't changed in 25 years. And my methods of creating them haven't changed in 25 years. The only difference is I've done it for 25 years. So I think my translations today are twice as good as they were 2 years ago. And that's twice as good as they were 2 years before that. And twice as good as they were 2 years before that. You just get better at it with time. But my procedure is always the same. And my way of analyzing things and making connections is always, we're going to get from here to there. And we're going to never make a conclusion. We're never going to form or offer a conclusion or insight unless we can validate it. That conclusion or insight has to always be true. There can't be anything that contradicts it. And a text that you can validate was inspired by God. And so there's many times where I've said, I have a profound insight, but I'm not going to develop it until I can track down everything there is to know about it. And we're going to go through every possible prophet and see what they have to say about this, or take this word and we're going to run it through a paces of every place it was used. And so we're very systematic, very logical, and ordered in the process. This particular person's has, before she outed herself, had written a score of, boy, I found something really profound, and she'd send 10 pages, 20 pages of just chicken scratch. And you'd read the first paragraph and say, oh my God, this is frightening. It's darn near deranged. There is no logic, there's no flow, there's no consistency, and constant contradictions. And so I read that kind of stuff and it just, no, my brain's going to explode. I can't do it. Now, that's not fair to say that Rich and Perry can, but Rich and Perry have a slightly different temperament and a little more patience with such things. And so I've asked both of them to go through it, and they're going to give you a report on what they had to say. But the gist of it is that Trump is not the Toralist one. Did you know that? No. Yeah, Trump is not. So we're going to completely discard what Isaiah said, because Isaiah made it really clear that Israel would be eviscerated and indefensible, sometime concurrent with the time of Israel's troubles, which would start on Shavuot, 7 years prior to Yahweh and Dod's return. And so she then goes on to say that the nation individual that's going to do it is the United States, and it'd be the president of the United States is going to be the great betrayer of Israel. And there's some 70 plus adjectives that articulate America and nobody else, and particularly America today. It emphasizes on the whirling wings of our cruise missiles and our helicopter gunships, and speaks of our naval prowess and of sending great fleets around the world, and our tendency to be busybodies and involving in everyone's affairs, and quite militant and exceedingly arrogant. And there's only one nation that fits that bill, and it fits every single part of it, and it's the United States. And so I came up with that realization 20 years ago, and I've subsequently reinforced it many, many times. And the 17th chapter of Yeshaya is one of the most important foundational prophecies there is in the whole of Yah's Torah, because it pertains to the timing of the Shabuah and the Teruah harvest, and the role of the Adamah Parah and fulfilling them. And it's pretty extraordinary. In fact, not pretty extraordinary, it's really extraordinary. And so when Trump won the last election, because obviously that puts him as president of the United States during the celebration of Shabuah, 22 May of this year, it was obvious that Donald Trump is going to be the great betrayer. There is no prophet that ranks in the league of Yeshaya, and his detailed presentation was extraordinary. So it was certain. And not only did I make the pronouncement in the Yada Yada radio program hour immediately after the election, at the time, I wasn't speaking to this individual. Reason I was not speaking to her is that she pulled a really despicable stunt. She lied to a person, I'll mention their name, Molly, and she lied to another, Jackie. And she lied to both Leah and I about them. And she set Molly up with a whole cadre of lies, and Jackie up with a whole cadre of lies. And I caught her at it. And I said, when you're conniving the way you are with important people in this covenant family, and you manipulate them for whatever purpose you thought that was appropriate, but created this series of lies to bring them into this situation and cause this conflict, I'm not talking to you anymore. We're done. But nonetheless, the day of that show, immediately after the election, she sent me an email. And she says, you know what this means, obviously, based upon what you've written in your translations of Isaiah 17 and 18. It means that Donald Trump is the great betrayer, that he is the Torahless one. So she went from admitting it was true to now she wants to present me in that role. She wants to present me both as a rabbi and a Jew.
the Nacri?
Yes, yeah.
The Nacri?
A rabbi
okay,
and a rabbi and a Jew. Clear. Yep. And her thing is that, and Perry, you were the one that brought this to my attention, so I'll let you correct me if I get this wrong, but that somebody who joins into the covenant and is a covenant member, which by the way is my term. There's no place where God actually calls it a covenant member, and I'm the one who emphasized the meaning of the covenant in God's program. Nobody else was paying any attention to it. And that somebody breaks away from the covenant, who is a member of the covenants, it joins the covenant, breaks away from the covenant, and it takes other covenant members with them. But you got a little problem with that. There was no covenant before I discovered what it meant and how you become part of it and started speaking about it. So every member, every person that could call themselves covenant today, they are covenant because I was the first and I invited them in. And Yahweh constantly refers to me as the father of the covenant. So that might be a little problem with the get along here. And I'm still part of it. And I did not break away. But guess who did? But guess who joined the covenant from a conspiracy cult and now has broken away and taken people with her?
Yahweh calls her the witch.
Yes, she does. So there's a couple of flaws in the get along here. Then she wants to use a name that is that isn't a name at all. It's three words that she's put together as a name that she wants to use to disparage me. And the three words are Melech, pretty simple explanation of Melech, right? King, ruler, political, and well, typically a political ruler. Melech. I know a Melech, but I'm no Melech. The next word is Oz. You know this fellow named Boaz. Means with strength. Well, Oz means an empowered king. So there's a king who has an empowered, and the third word is Pene, which is the Hebrew word for face or presence. So it's a king with an empowered presence. That is not a title. That's not a name. But she wants to put those three together and make it out to be a name because, well, she's not very smart. And oh, by the way, the next statement regarding that individual says that he's going to use military and political power to kill multitudes of people.
Do you have an army?
I thought I opted out of politics. I've never been in the military. I don't even have a pea shooter around me. Oh, I have an air gun that we use for for an iguana occasionally. We gave it to Perry, but no, I've got no guns. My airplanes did not have the Gatling gun package associated with them. I got no military. In fact, I'm anti-military.
You don't even have a navy.
Not killed anybody. Don't have a navy. Don't have an air force. But I know somebody that qualifies for the role of Rahab, of the Torahless one, of the great betrayer, that has a political standing and political power, that has killed a lot of people. But context is king, and we should not seem to like the context. This happens to be this phrasing that she misappropriated, being a dunderhead. And I hope that there's members of her little hive that are listening to this, because she has betrayed all of them. She's going to drag all of you into Sheol if you continue to hang with her. And those two names that I did mention, she played you. I told you she played you. She played you. She lied to you. And just as she has agreed that Trump is the great betrayer, but now wants me to be the great betrayer because, of course, every time she comes up with something that is her new claim to fame in her proof statement, it tells me, go here. I go there, and it refutes what she said. We played the game now 10 times, and all 10 times she's been obliterated. But, she's like the mosquito at a nudist colony. You just go to the next victim. You never admit you're wrong, even when God's the one who's pointing out, yeah, you're wrong. So we played the game 10 times already. I have an answer for this 11th time, and I will share that as soon as I finish my rewrite of it, because it is really delicious. When I got frustrated that she had posted this, Yahweh said, "Why you? Come on." Mm-hmm. I've already written the reply. If she hadn't written it, you may not have fully developed my reply. Now you get to use the reply that I wrote for you. That's, but we're working good together here.
Kind of excited.
Not going to waste material.
This is how, if she didn't exist, how would you have found it? I would have created all this answer for you, and you never would have used it. What fun would that be? Okay. As I say, you don't spar with the boss. He wins every time. But it's still fun. But anyway, so we have done all that, and after all of that, she now wants to deny that Trump is the Antichrist. Now, the citation that she has, that is this Fakaktic name for me, which is 3 words, Melech, Oz, and Pene. It's preceded by an introduction when Gabriel, it's a fellow you may know, Gabor El, the most courageous and competent and capable, combative man of God. Now, he's a Zachariah for sure, right? Dode.
All right.
So Dode comes down and he's presenting himself, and this is what we read. And this is the pretext to the quote where with this political king, she's claiming is me, and I didn't know I was a king, but okay, we know what the hell. I hope maybe she can deliver the kingdom. and maybe my army and all that sort of thing. But nonetheless, this is the pretext. I heard the voice of this man providing understanding by making the connections associated with, this has been, Ule, my enriching adventure. He called out to and invited Kara. Gabriel, I am God's most confident and capable, courageous and combative man. Last time I checked, we were the first to actually figure out who Gabriel was, and no one had ever done that before. Mm-hmm. That was a major, important discovery, and validated it now 100 times over. He said, what do you think he said? He said, explain the relationships which lead to understanding this revelation. Explain the relationships which lead to understanding this revelation. So he arrived, positioning himself right before me. But when he approached, I was overwhelmed. So I chose to face plant. Then he said to me, descendant of Adam, you should choose of your own ability to make the necessary connections to understand. Learning to closely examine and carefully consider the evidence while being discerning. Because indeed, the prophetic revelation is for the end of time. That would be Daniel 8:17. So when he was speaking with me, I fell into a deep sleep while my face was on the ground. By the way, face is pane, which is the word that she wants to turn into a name. My face was upon the ground. And yet he continued to reach out through me, such that he propped me up and he caused me to be upright. What does we always say when somebody does a face plant and they're on their schnoz and in a situation, bowing down? Get off your face. Get off your knees. Get up. Stand up. You're made bipedal for a reason. Stand up upon my assigned post. He said, pay close attention to me. Hena, Ani. Yada will make this known so that you will be able to understand.
Who is that he made known?
Yada will make this known so that you will be able to understand. Yada ata. Yada will be made aware of your prognostication, then be shown what needs to be revealed regarding you, engaging to become familiar with, acknowledging this discovery, comprehending and then explaining what you will observe, realizing that you have revealed and then made known it more so that you can reveal it and make it known more broadly. What is the key ingredient if you're going to include the noun version of a verb into the sentence? It needs to be either infinitive or in the participle, correct? This was written Hiffle participle. So it does mean Yada will make this known. Participle versus the infinitive would mean that he is making it known to you at this moment. He is not going to hang around with you forever in Babylon. He came with me, he's making it known to you for this moment, and then he's out of here. That's what it means. So Yada will make this known to you as the final witness to the eternal testimony regarding the restoring appointments of the Moed. context is king, and if you can't deal with the context, you just ought not play the game. He will literally, without hesitation or interruption, convey the way to receive the benefits of the relationship. Now, she, of course, has her own private translation of Asher, so that Asher, you would ignore the verbal root of Asher. You just look at it as a preposition or as a pronoun. But last time I checked, Asher, written exactly the same way, was indeed a verb. Remember doing a lexicon there, Captain Kirk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Asher a verb?
Is it a purple noun or
poor Kirk has had too much cancer treatment. You're going to be fine. My friend JB, is Asher only a preposition, or is it a preposition, a noun, a proper noun, and also a verb?
All the above.
All of the above. All of the above. Yep. As a verb, it actually has two. It has two entries in most lexicons as a verb. It is also a proper noun, in that it is the name of one of the 12 tribes, the tribe of Asher. It has use as a preposition and as a pronoun. Asher is a full-service word. It may be the most widely comprehensive word in Hebrew. And when I render it like this to show the way to receive the benefits of the relationship, I am rendering the word primarily on the basis of the verbal root of the word, because that is how you define words in ancient languages. And that's what it means. So I'll go back from the beginning, because it gets even better. Pay close attention to me. Yada will make this known so that you will be understood as the final witness to the eternal testimony regarding the restoring appointments of the Moed. He will literally and without hesitation or interruption convey the way to receive the benefits of the relationship, Asher. In the distant future, during the last days, on behalf of the indignant remnant. That takes us right to Yeshaya 10, where the Choder's work is principally on behalf of that remnant, over and over again. The remnant, the remnant, the remnant. That's Daniel 8:19. That was the lead-in to the verse that she misappropriated from the 8th chapter to come up with a name, and the next statement regarding that phrase, the king who is tremendously empowered in his presence. The next statement says that he is going to be a military and political leader and is going to kill a lot of people, which takes you right back to our conclusion that it's Donald J. Trump. However, she doesn't ever quote again from the 8th chapter of Daniel, where it is Dode that's speaking. She speaks only of Daniel 11. Are any of you aware of what it says in Daniel 11? Okay, I am, since I have written a book on Daniel. Daniel 11 begins, like so many of the other books in Daniel, with a historical lie. It speaks of Darius the Mede. Darius was not a Mede, and Darius wasn't in power at the time. He, in the 9th chapter, goes on a whole soliloquy about Darius, and he has the wrong father, the wrong son, the wrong time, the wrong country, wrong everything. And when it comes to his own insights, Daniel can't keep his own history straight. He is wrong about all of it. So it begins with that. So that's a bad sign. it had the likelihood of being Elia delivering the message in the 10th chapter, which was really interesting. And Elia had to go and attend to business. So he's gone. And so now this is Danny Boy all by himself. And the guy who has had one historical blunder after another, who hasn't gotten one historical statement right about his own time, goes into this very strange soliloquy that has no bearing with anything else in the book, and presents the kings of the north and the south. It is basically the story of Alexander the Great's conquests, and how Alexander the Great conquest would break into the four leaders, and the influence of the Seleucid leader over Yehuda, and Epiphanes being the man who gave the Maccabees such a tough time, and Epiphanes became the great enemy of the Maccabees. And so the Maccabees ultimately wrote of Epiphanes as if he were an antichrist fellow. And well, you can deal with the book in one of two ways. You can render it as every scholar does, as this is the Maccabee interpretation of Epiphanes. They hated him, and what they did is they just recorded this in kind of mystical tome so that it would have a religiosity appeal. It's not written like any other part of Daniel, and Daniel has been wrong about his own history, and they're going to pretend like history 2 centuries removed from Daniel is somehow something that he came up with prophetically. And the 1 to 10 chance of that is 0. And really most, in fact, all scholars recognize it, that it was written much later. And it's not prophetic at all. It's a rant against the person the Maccabees hated the most. And the Maccabees were quite prolific in writing books that they wanted to be perceived as scripture, and they weren't. So to make a case with Daniel 9 is you're going into intellectual quicksand. You can still present it because it's a fairly accurate presentation of those 4 rulers and how they interacted with one another. And that history, I think, is fascinating. So I took it when I wrote in fact, it happened to be the 11th chapter of that book on the Babel series Beast, covering the 11th chapter. I took it as we're going to go over these first 25, 30 verses as an interesting historical portrayal, because we can learn a lot from the history of how badly the Greeks were and their interactions with Israel. So that's the way I took it. But you would, since her whole claim now is that she's right and that I'm a rabbi and I'm a Jew and I have this fancy title that is comprised of 3 words that are a sentence, not a title. Well, not a sentence, but a phrase. King of empowered, with an empowered presence, it would be the way it would read. That she's going to use Daniel 9 to say, well, this is what the Antichrist Craig fellow has to be. And you go, and you're going to pit that against Isaiah? You're going to put that against the great Isaiah scroll in the 17th and 18th chapters of Yashaya? Are you out of your mind? Is that really the debate that you want to have, and you'll stand on that ground? I mean, that's like saying I'm going to fight a nuclear bomb with a feather. It's like comparing an elephant to naval lint. It's just astonishing. So let's play the first of 2 songs that just portray this woman correctly. We'll play these 2 songs portraying her as we see her, and then from that point, we'll talk and get you to share what you think. And my view on all of this is that when I put all of the books that speak of this person in the last days, and there are prophecies all over, and many of the books that talk about this person. And Rahab happens to be one of the more interesting depictions of him, and those are in the Mizmor and elsewhere, also in Yashaya. That it was the easiest and the hardest of the many conclusions that I have drawn as unheralded insights. And the reason it was the easiest is because it came from Yashaya, Isaiah 17 and 18. And there it was undeniable and overwhelming, and the timing was right now, and it was this country against Israel at this time. And it was the depiction of America and Trump in the 18th chapter is perfect. And so it was just easy, which is why, of course, she, prior to a show, to try to get back in my good graces, sent me, oh, that means that Donald Trump is that person. So she knew it. She just has gone off on a new tangent because she needs an enemy to keep her victim status so she can hold her little cult together, because she depends on them. She bleeds them for money and for everything else. So you're pitting Yashaya against Dimwit Daniel. That's not a fight that anyone's going to win. And so when I came to and made that pronouncement, I was completely confident because I trust Yashaya implicitly. And the more I study him, the more I trust him. But the second thing that was nervous about this, at the time he was 78 going on 79, and now he's 80. And he was a wreck. I mean, he was losing his mind, and it was obvious that he had lost his mind and his health. I mean, he was pooping in his pants. I mean, how in the world was a man that was that out of shape, that mentally incapacitated, who was a constant confabulator? How was a man like that going to last another 7, at the time, 9 years, and now another 7 years? It didn't seem possible that he could survive. And so that was the nervous part of it. When you declare that he is the Toraless one, that's a big statement. Big statement. You damn well better be right. And therefore he has to live until 2033. That was the nervous part of it. But nonetheless, we made the statement. And since that time, Donald Trump has proved that it was accurate every single day without fail. I would say unequivocally that of all of the humans who have ever lived, more so than Hitler, more so than Stalin or Lenin, more so than Julius Caesar, in terms of just raw ego, more so than Mao, Genghis Khan, that Donald Trump is the most egomaniacal, psychotic, and yet dim-witted, sexually perverted, and both demonic and deadly person ever. He does not have a comparison. We went through, Perry and I, comparing Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. And Hitler's speeches were better. Hitler was a much better orator than Donald Trump. But the substance of their speeches is very much the same. Their lack of truth, very much the same.
Propaganda.
Yeah, propaganda. And the difference was that Hitler worked at his technique and his gestures and vocal tone and all that sort of thing. And he delivered a much more impactful speech. I wouldn't say that Hitler was any smarter or dumber than Trump. Hitler was not a very smart man. Probably smarter than Trump, certainly more articulate than Trump. But the theme, very similar. The difference is, and also the similarity, is that Hitler had Goebbels and Trump has Stephen Miller and he has Eva Braun. And they recognize, all of them, the value of staging. And so they're constantly staging Trump, or they staged Hitler, such that he always appeared as a messianic figure. That the things that they put around him, the way they dressed him, and the surrounding, the staging around him, conveyed authority and power and gave the trappings of credibility. And then you have this clown standing in front of them, but the people have a tendency to hear things differently when the trappings are as they were for Hitler. I asked Perry today to check into a film called The Triumph of the Will. It was the ultimate expression of this, how Hitler was presented as a messianic figure. And Hitler's this and Trump's this here. The raised fist, very similar. And Trump uses it all the time. Trump uses all the symbols of the Fourth Reich. I don't think I've ever been more confident that a determination, and that was a bold one, that Trump is Satan incarnate, is right, because every day he proves it, and proves it to an extent that is beyond anything we've ever witnessed. So before we play the Mara, which was Yahweh's response to Leah's attack on, this individual's attack on Leah, and then on how she claimed that she also spoke for God, bringing us back to Numbers 11. And then the second being Nakba. Before we turn to those two, any thoughts? Anybody want to chime in and add 2 cents on the great Satan incarnate debate, whether she's right and I'm the Jew rabbi that left the covenant and took people away, joined the covenant and then took people away from the covenant as a Jew rabbi under the phrase Malek Az Pene, based upon Daniel 11, or if Yashaya is right and I've interpreted him correctly, and then put together the other 50 references to Donald Trump, and that Donald Trump has proven that I was correct. That he's the
Craig, if I may say something here, this is a case of obvious somebody who's having a psychotic break with narcissistic features, an individual who's nothing more than a petulant pile of pus.
Yes, I would agree with that. It might be too flattering because that pus doesn't deserve that kind of degradation, but okay. I'm with you up to that point. That being
said, I think this is a marvelous moment in timing, how Yah is deploying you now to give us the ability for you to be the Moreh, which is Yoel described. Okay? Let us not forget also.
Yeah, that autumn rain that brings the Torah.
The Nakri, the Olivet Discourse by Solomon.
Yes. Yeah. Or Moshe's presentation of the Nakri, coming in the middle of a time that the earth has returned to the conditions of Sodom and involved in nuclear holocaust.
Let us also go back to Yoel and what he said is going to happen, and which you painstakingly and just meticulously described and documented. All right, to augment, complement, reemphasize that which Yashaya obviously stated in 11 and 17. This is a moment, and I find it really, now I'm finding it really amazing. On the heels of that maniacal BS conference and his news conference last night, which was sheer total BS, to be this
egomaniacal nonsense, egomaniacal lies, deceptions.
So here we are, not 24 hours, not 24 hours from the moment where now you can raise the voice again, be the coal, and now do it in a way that manifests as na'er, that bold, got just warrior-like.
It's interesting, Jeff, that you speak of it that way. I told everyone I shared on this show while I was asked to go back and look at Yeshayahu 11 again, which is the most powerful prophetic text of all time, because it's the only person that has the seven spirits of Yahweh, and how Yahweh pointed out my involvement with Dode and what that entailed 2,000 years ago, and it was quite a gut punch, because it would have to be the biggest ask of all time, and I shared that with you, and Yahweh said to me, "So, good job, you found it. Now what?" And I knew exactly what he's saying. Never once, ever, did I just go to something and pluck it out and say, okay, well, this translation means the following. Because just as I shared that what's in Daniel 8, preceding the line that she has misappropriated, and then shared what comes after it, I always show things in context, because context is king. If you're looking for credibility and to be correct, context is king. So I knew what God wanted. He wanted me to go back to the beginning of Yeshayahu 10. The entirety of Yeshayahu 10 is the story of the Choder. He has another 7 or 8 titles. And many of the titles are reinforced from other places. But the purpose of the chapter is to associate the Choder with 2 battles. He is the one who has to confront and does in Ashur. Ashur is the Assyrian, who is the adversary, who is Trump. And you can start the chapter by giving, I gave 7 or 8 different, not that many, maybe it's 6 possibilities of Ashur. It could be, because it's singular, it's masculine singular, so it's not a nation. It is either the Assyrian, and that Assyrian is being used as a metaphor for someone, because there was no one was ever named Ashur. And the second is that he is the adversary, the Assyrian, the adversary. And by the way, those aren't mutually exclusive. That he could be the Ayatollah, because this Ashur could well speak of this united militant front that comes out of Iran, Iraq, and Syria. So it could be Iran, Iraq, Syria. Not likely. Could be the Ayatollah. He would have every reason to want to destroy Israel. Could be the adversary, likely is. Could be just the name Assyrian is being used as a title, just like Rahab is being used for a title for this nefarious fellow. Or he's just Satan as Trump. Trump is Satan. And as you develop the story, it gets to the point where each of those options goes away until you're only left with the Assyrian as the adversary, as Trump incarnate. And that's the only viable choice. And so the 10th chapter is written to explain the role of the Choder in the context of his foe, the one he has to destroy, is Donald Trump as the adversary. That's what I'm being set up to do. And that in so doing, I honor two of God's promises. One is he wants his son to have a kingdom, and he wants to honor the promise he made to Abraham to restore the relationship with his descendants. And the only way to do that is with the mortal remnant. And so the most repeated term in the text is about the mortal remnant. And so the story is that the Choder is the man responsible for giving birth to the mortal remnant, and doing so by confronting and doing away with the adversary. And in this, he is actually the implement that God uses to eliminate, to literally incinerate everyone who is opposed to him, to his beloved son and king, Dode, to Yahweh and to Yahweh's people. You rise out of the fire that is set under the Adam of Parah as a blazing sword. God doesn't do anything alone. He uses me to eliminate them all. So it's a very interesting presentation. So that context that you just presented, Jeff, is exactly as it's presented in Yeshaya 10.
Again, this is your moment to be Gabor, Chazak, and on this, ironically, on this morning's vlog on a blog, as a master of and lover of Devarim words, you came up with another one which describes your mission to a T. Sedulous.
Yeah, sedulous.
No graphic.
Yeah. He was the one. You knew Dr. Jeff would find that. By the way, in Yeshaya 10, he is called a Gabor.
Dedicated, careful, persevering, assiduous, diligent,
Absolutely.
industrious,
all of those things.
tireless.
Marvelous word.
Okay, so this worm, who is lower than whale dung, which is pretty low, it's not even a contest. Nuclear weapon versus a pea shooter. It's just, I think, a marvelous time for you to be able to just exert who you are, what you are, and what the mission is.
That was Yahweh's approach too. And so let's have the debate on this, on the fight that you picked. I mean, I can't imagine somebody be foolish enough that they're going to try to exonerate Donald Trump, who has proven time and again that he is exactly as I have depicted him, that he's Satan incarnate, and say no, it's the guy who has written the book on proving that he's Satan incarnate, and he must be Jewish, a rabbi, and the guy that broke away from the covenant. And I'm going to base it on Daniel 11. Against Yeshaya 17 and 18, after already publicly admitting that Daniel's 11 doesn't hold a candle to Yeshaya 17 and 18. So what do you think there, Perry?
Rabbi, you really speak against the Talmud there.
Pardon?
Oh, yes. For a rabbi, you really seem to speak a lot against the Talmud.
I really do. I must be the, they accuse me of having a cult, which of course would be the worst cult leader in the history of cult leaders, since I've never made a dime for anybody, never made a request of anybody, and have spent all my time just offering everything that I've learned for free, making myself vulnerable. So I would be the worst cult leader of all time. Although she's a pretty good little cult leader. She's got a really tiny cult because she's not very good at it. But she gets people to give her money. If I'm a rabbi, I would have to be the worst rabbi ever, since all I do is disparage rabbis. And as a man who's checked his DNA, and the prophecies all say he is the Nakar observant foreigner, me guess I can't be Jewish, and the name she wants to apply to me isn't a name; it's a phrase. But that all is
other than that, it's spot on.
Yeah, that is small barley compared to how obvious it is that we're right about Trump, and how obvious it is that only a fool would go against Yeshaya. I'll take my stand all day long. You want to go mono a psychopatho, and you take Daniel 11, and I get Yeshaya 17 and 18.
Not to mention, sleep. You're the ultimate Yahud, more than any Jew. All right, look what the word means, Yahud.
Yeah. The reason, and by the way, what Yahweh says very clearly in that preamble to the chapter on the Choder is that, by the way, she thinks the Choder is a messianic figure, and the problem is the Choder is a tree. Absolutely, unequivocally, the Choder is a tree. And while the Messiah is also a tree, he's the other tree, because guess what's never mentioned regarding the Chodar, he's never called the Etzah Chayam, is he? He doesn't have the spirit of Chayam, which would be lives. Dod is as the Messiah is the tree of lives because he fulfilled Passover. I'm the tree of the Etzah Dayath, which is the tree of knowledge. So you got the wrong tree for the Messiah. So that doesn't work either. But the thing that is so appropriate about this, and this is why I wanted to do a program on it, is that the currency that everyone who has ever spoken for God has is credibility. Mm-hmm. You can be assured that you will not have an audience, that maybe 1 in a million people will listen to what you have to say. But those who do will do so because you have credibility. And so when you have a psychopath who is delusional, who is fixated on trying to destroy your credibility, you have no choice when they hashtag your name on social media, which, by the way, is a crime, to respond. And in this case, I'm not responding to exonerate me because this is. I mean, it's like I'm going to go. The bull is going to go play against Navalent. I mean, no, this is be stupid. But what I can do is I can use this as a way to reinforce something that is essential for people to know. When we reached May 22 of 2026, that was the beginning of the time of troubles. We proclaimed it as such, and everything has fallen apart for Israel since that moment. Everything. I mean, Israel is just checkmated. It's over for Israel, completely isolated. Even the United States, the vice president made another speech against Israel. Mm-hmm. And the president won't involve Israel in anything anymore. And he abandoned Israel in his surrender to Iran. So it is absolutely true that the moment we reached that point, we were right, that this is being Israel eviscerated and indefensible. So we got it right. And it's important for us to reinforce that we got it right. But coterminous with that, according to the prophets, this is when the Torahless one that betrays Israel emerges, and he is the leader of a country that's defined and described as the United States, which means he's Donald Trump, which means that 2 years ago, I began posting on X and on Facebook, 30,000 posts on X, all to get the attention of Israelis and Jews, to tell them, be careful. The man that you are praising, that you think is your friend, is the great betrayer. He is Satan incarnate. This is Donald Trump. And what you're going to witness is everything that I tell you is going to come true. But if you recognize it now, you can save a lot of lives. And boy, have we been proven accurate. So this is important. Perry, what do you think? You've been quiet there.
I really appreciate being able to read this. It was about 30, 40 pages, so it was extensive. But where she stated that the person came into an existing covenant with some knowledge and drew people away. And I did learn something. She made the comment that there's no reference to Torahless or anything like that, but it's not a single person in general. It's never referenced as a single person. And she makes a reference to a council or a group. Mm-hmm. So when you look at that and say, okay, Trump might be the Torahless one, but there's a group out there that are working in conjunction with him. And when I look at what she said, not a single thing was verified. She made references to this, that, and 100 things without any proof or any specific.
Well, just your first statement. I didn't come into a covenant.
Exactly.
I established the covenant.
You see, everything.
She came into a covenant that I established.
Yes.
And then she tore away from it and tore people away from it with her lies.
See, that's what the problem is just like Christianity stole everything from Dode, she's doing the same thing. Everything she stated in there was a twist, an attempt to steal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I got out of that 40 pages.
You felt like you were reading Paul.
You did darn right.
40 pages.
Yeah. It's a cluttered mind.
Mm-hmm.
Almost no consistency, reason. It's just like you're going to throw. I'm going to throw 75 spit wads against the wall. Well, I guess it's 40 pages, so 2 spit wads per page. I'll throw 80 or 40 spit wads against the wall, and something will stick.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But I'm not going to justify any one of those spit wads. And the claims are just ludicrous.
And her conclusions on putting it all together, no logical coherence whatsoever.
No logical coherence. All right. My beloved wife was badly stung by this woman. She gave this woman a lot of money, trying to help her out. Opened up her checkbook to her. She did everything she could to try to save, which is a very, very, very troubled woman that everyone that's ever known her has come to hate her. Because she's so maniacal. She's like Trump. She will turn on everyone. And she only plays up to people to manipulate them. And so we got to know who she was, and we went from protecting her, and I did more to protect her than anyone in her life by her own admission, by a lot more than anyone in her life. And she betrayed me for that. It's reprehensible, but that's who she is. And now all she can do is to hashtag my name and try to create the enemy that all psychopaths need. All psychopaths need an enemy so that the groupies around them don't look at them. They look at their pretense of an enemy. So that's what she's about doing. But all of you, she's just using you, and she's going to drag you into Sheol with her. So be careful. So anyway, Leah wrote a couple of songs. Let's play the first of them. We'll play the second, and then we'll go from there.
Shema Yisrael. He's the creator of all. That's right, that's it, and that's for all. Kara and I hear the call to the Shabbat before we would fall. Falling in the streets where the children once played. Stories of our fathers going the wrong way. Oh, Yahuwah is our refuge, our light in the storm. When I feel alone, he keeps me close, joyful with me, blessed by Yah. In his embrace, I am free. Yisrael. My eye will not pity Mariam, her treachery to those I hold dear, told not to fear. In Yah's guidance we will grow. Yet it's a heavy blow. Surely we can speak for God, she said, lost in her head, ignoring wisdom and truth. Oh, Yahuwah is our refuge, our light in the storm. When I feel alone, he keeps me close, joyful with me, blessed by Yah. In his embrace, I am free. My throat is dry, my eyes are weary. Many Israel, hear me, don't be Marah. A plea from my soul as the dark shadows loom. Come home to the light, dispel all the gloom. We're drowning in choices made out of fear, but in Yah's great love, we are finally near. Our Yahuwah is our refuge, our rock and our flame. When I feel alone, He keeps me close, joyful with me, blessed by Yah. In His embrace, I am free. Remember the stories, the prophets, the fatling and wasp. The Torah is truth, we must move on. His words are alive. Many chase after evil, forgetting to strive. The kingdom awaits, the chosen will rise. In Yahweh's name we'll soar. Yahweh is our refuge, our light in the dark. When I feel alone, He keeps me close, joyful with me, blessed by Yah. In His embrace, I am free. So let's gather together around the nut-tree. Let the children sing in the heart of our land. Let doubt's excellence ring. Once a family.
The reason that song was written is that this very vile, evil psychopath, after a year of positioning herself and lying to everybody so that she could have a breakaway group to be her little cult, she based it on a mother goddess, that there was a mother god, and that she was going to speak for the mother god, and that I was going to destroy the lives of many people because I was unwilling to speak for the mother god. That's why we refer to them as the mother goddess cult. And their justification for the existence of a mother god, which, by the way, there is no evidence of any kind. And Yahweh always speaks in masculine, singular. Was the eighth mashal, the eighth proverb. And there are many proverbs that mention mother. There are many proverbs that write of the Ruach spirit. Guess what two words don't even appear anywhere in the eighth proverb?
Mother.
Mother and spirit. So no, the eighth, and so when they came, that was their premise, that they were going to break away and form their own group, and they were going to speak for Mother God, and that they had found Mother God in the eighth mashal, and that I should join them. And I said, but you never will, because you're not willing to speak for the Mother God. But the Mother Goddess is very important to us, and we're going to speak for her. And you'll find the Mother Goddess in the eighth mashal. So I translated the eighth mashal. There is no reference to a mother, or to a feminine god, or to a spirit god anywhere in it. It is about chakma, which is the ability to process information intelligently. And it was written to celebrate intelligence, which
they have none.
which they collectively as a group have none. Yeah. So, and chakma is a feminine noun. So when there is a verb that is addressing chakma, it will be written she. So they figured, well, if there's a she, that must be Mother God. It was the most ludicrous thing in the world. And I pointed out to him, I said, you can do whatever you want to do. You want to go have another cult and do something, you can do it. That's your choice. But be aware that you're lying to yourselves and to everybody. There is no mother God in the eighth mashal. There's no mother God anywhere, but most certainly not in the eighth mashal. They went anyway. And the next time we heard from them, they had rewritten Yahweh's name to Yahweh. And they remember that post. I still have the graphic of it, where they claimed that the hand was a daddy god, and the Wah, which is the tent peg, was mommy god, and that the two people standing up were them as the children of God. And so this was daddy god and mommy god embracing their little children. And I pointed out, excuse me, but the Yod is feminine in Hebrew, so it can't be daddy. And the Wah, the tent peg, is masculine Hebrew, so it can't be mommy. Right. You got those two wrong. And then they cited two passages to infer that God created us, male and female, in his image. And it doesn't say that at all. But it says that he created man in his image. And he created females, but in man's image, not in God's image. So they got that one wrong too. And then they misquoted the fifth statement that Yahweh etched in stone. And so I went and translated that and showed just how wrong they were, that in fact, that the lives are prolonged on the Adamah, on the basis of the Adamah, and the Adamah is the bloody red man of the earth. So they got that one wrong too. And we went just right on through it. And since then, there have been 8 other episodes. And one of them happened to be when they claimed that they spoke for God. God says, got your back. Already covered this. And they came and they attacked my wife to get to me. And it's the exact same story. Every aspect of the story is exactly the same as we read in Numbers 11. And so I cited Numbers 11 that Yahweh's insistence to rebut them. And then it went from there. They came up with 10 in all, and each of the 10, the very statements they quoted, said exactly the opposite and indicted them time and time again. And rather than admit, okay, well, boy, if you're wrong on our premise, which was we're all doing this because of the mother God in the eighth mashal, and it's not there, and you prove it, and then that we're claiming that we speak for God too, and you prove no, you don't, and then we claim that Yahweh's name is masculine and feminine, and it has a mommy and a daddy God in it, and no, you prove it's not true, and then you prove that that God didn't create man and men and women in his image, male and female in his image. He created. It doesn't say that. You were wrong there too, and that every reference in the statements you said, God presents himself as masculine singular. So you're wrong there too. And then, you present the Choder as a Messiah figure because some AI told you that was the case, and it's the wrong tree. And you got that one wrong too. And then you make your big claim that, oh, I'm wrong because I tell you can eat anything. When I went right back to the Torah where Moshe says, speaking for Yahweh, you can eat anything you want. Just don't drink blood. And so we proved them wrong there again. And then they said, well, you're wrong because, well, the word of the day is meek, and God wants us to be meek. And I said, no, there's actually no word for meek that's used in a positive sense ever. The word that you're translating here, meek, means to be tightly bound to Yahweh. And the word that you want to be meek means to be responsive. So no, you're wrong there too. Yahweh's looking for Shazak. He's looking for Gabor. So it proved that you're wrong there too. And it just went on and on and on and on. And every time, every claim they made was repudiated by God's own testimony. And I'm happy to go through Daniel and cite the parts that are important and explain the parts that are not, and then cite all of the other proof. But I think it's overwhelming that people should know Donald Trump is Satan incarnate, that we're in the time of trouble. And oh, by the way, they base their whole get up claiming that Shabuah was their harvest. So they were going on the big trip on this Shabuah. And guess what? It didn't happen. They're still here because they're still posting, hashtagging my name. So when they screw up like that, it's so many of these cult groups have had exit dates, and the exit dates have come and gone. you'd think they'd have the decency to say, oh, well, we got that wrong. We really embarrassed ourselves. We ought to just fade away and go away and hide our heads. But no, rather than saying, okay, we got that wrong. That was our big harvest. And I said, no, it's not. And no, it's not going to be the harvest at this time. And they went all in with it and they lost.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. What about
No,
10 or
fool
10
me
or,
once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
but
But
10 or 12 times now? Who's the
that
fool?
didn't fool me at all. But she certainly managed to fool her little cadre of characters. There must be lapping all this stuff up because they have this. There's 55 followers. 55, not a lot of people, particularly when you're dealing with Facebook, on the hashtag We Hate Craig site, which they make public, but their own site where their little den they make private. They have funny little passwords like no bull, because that's how Yahweh presents me, or any We Hate Craig, or that sort of thing was always their clever little passwords. And occasionally we'd have somebody check, and all they would do is just have all sorts of little plots as to how they were trying to undermine us everywhere. There really are rats, and that's unfair to rats. But it is important to know that when you attack somebody that Yahweh cares about, God's going to give you both barrels. And wait till you see what God has in store for them when I share with you Yeshaya 10 going into Yeshaya 11. It is it's God saying, well, let them attack, and this is my response. And you're in the wrong crowd, and the wrong crowd goes off to Sheol. So goody for you. Really stupid call, but God's also saying, if they weren't around, then how could we have all this fun? This is I've written all this stuff for you, so the least we can do is use it. Don't tell me to eliminate them. What fun would that be? So we have opportunities like
kind of a strange relationship.
It is kind of a strange relationship, but fractured families is what God has endured, and she was really good at fracturing the family, and so it's like Hosea being asked to engage with a temple prostitute, so he would have some empathy for Yahweh as to what Yahweh was up against in terms of the religiosity of his people. This is a conspiratorialist that's gone back to conspiracy. And as your conspiratorialist, she's going to love Trump and the Trumpites, so they're trying to exonerate Trump. Good luck with that. Maybe they'll become MAGAs. Well, there you go. So let's play Nakba.
Come here and listen to my tone. I'll give you things you have not known. Open the door and I'll tell you more as you stand at the threshold. You say that my man's not true. His voice you crave all through the night. I say naka to the woman that he sets free. And I say knock up the one who bore out a hole where happiness goes. Two women in the love story, who could they be? One loved the problem for the other to solve. Didn't like the Zucker, she sown seeds of her own. She bored a hole where happiness grew. When I held you so close that I broke in two. Knocker to the knocker who set her free. 1 times 7 it shall be. A father loves his son and set for him a bride to marry. Built them a home in Yahweh's name. She came to destroy with a flame. At 7 in the morning I did weep for the jewels in his crown. Be you and me, she tossed them to the ground. Where they lie in think when you think about love? Selah, Selah, Selah. I think about him that let me exhale, and in his greeting is Yahweh's name. It tears through my mind that I have never knew that all the things of love I thought were untrue. She tore them up and bore a hole right through a father's signature, and she will weep for that which she pierced. Weep not for her, the unclean soul, she who stands prominent on every corner to lay in wait for the souls of men. Weep when dumbstruck with the beloved of Yah. Your days are numbered by the Tzaba. Yada is the right hand of the Kodesh one. Yahweh's voice and son don't like it. She's the other one. Oh, backsliding daughter, how long will you pass yourself around? Unclean, unclean, you're into bonds. I told you her story when she broke the wall. She bore a hole into it all. I could tell it again, but I'd rather not. She bore a hole where happiness was. She took what was not hers to take. She left the other to clean up her mess. Forgive her not, for she is not mine. She opened her mouth and outpoured bitter wine, and not like my monologue, which riddles her mind. Yes, I'll find the O to replace the stolen, and I'll stand with the bull in honor and name, 'cause he found woman which was bored out of the beloved, and I'm so in love. Now you've truly got nowhere to go, and to you the Zona I say shalom, shalom, and off with you to Babylon, where you belong to bleed on idols. She stand in the breach where she doesn't belong. Openly and defiled by her own hand, and she thought to reach out to the tree of life, only it is not there for her. Send her away, Yahweh says, with her leprous wound. She doesn't belong. Now I got a stone in this song, and I'm going to scream from the top of my lungs. Happiness goes. Now I got a hole where the O used to go, with a stone on my bosom where my heart used to go. A wall on my tongue, I am going to place the happiness where she place the wall where happiness goes, and I'll grow the family you start to destroy.
So there we are again. My wife has a real gift for this. This embittered woman, when she wrapped the group around her, everyone that of the women initially had something in common. They hated my wife. All of them. They besmirched my wife. They said horrible things about my wife. And she really took a brutal toll to have all of these women so vicious against her. Don't know if it's just jealousy, pure evil, what their insecurities were, but it's a bitter pill, and I think that is my wife's ability to convey both the hate and the joy of living in that position through song is really exceptional. Now, what we did not know, they did not know, even she did not know, at the time she wrote these two songs, that God would designate her as the Amma, the most productive of all mothers, that God would present her as Ashar, the most blessed and beneficial of women. The 31st Mashal actually says that she's the greatest of women, that she is Ruth, the Amma. She's the one who delivered the kinsman redeemer. Without her, there is no salvation. She delivered the kinsman redeemer. And so we learned a lot about this woman that they have chosen to attack. And I can tell you that what God's response is going to be, because God loves this woman almost as much as he loves his beloved son, because this woman has been the mother of his beloved son, both actually mother, great grandmother, other times, surrogate mother at times. But he is really the only mother that he has ever known. And so by attacking her, all of you in that reprehensible nest are in serious trouble. I mean, my advice has always been, give up, disband, go away, apologize. I hope that by the time that these events all play out, that it's a distant memory and that we're not so focused on our angst towards you. But every time that you double down on something as stupid as you did this week, all you do is bring attention back to yourself and the whole group. So I thought that was brilliant. Any thoughts before we move on to the three songs that Leah has also written?
I've got one comment.
Yeah.
In her dissertation, she did mention this song specifically. And she got off on track saying that Nakba and various other words like that were not Hebrew, that they come from Arabic, and there's no relation between Hebrew and Arabic. Now I've done enough linguistic study to know they are related languages.
Related. The book she's quoting, Daniel, is written in both languages, and the vocabulary is almost identical. The alphabet is incredibly similar. They're cousins if there ever were cousins.
But Nakba wasn't.
I was saying it's more like UK English versus American English. It's still the same language. There's a different dialect to it, but
she claimed that Nakba or some similar word was not used until 1948.
Well, I will attest for the fact that Leah is not the world's best speller, and she will take Hebrew words and will add a letter here or there that don't belong. But I'm very familiar with the concept, and the concept is presented in a number of books. She may have transliterated it wrong, but there really isn't even really a wrong on transliteration. So I've shared with you when you're rendering Hebrew words and trying to pronounce them in a different language, there are scores of ways to replicate the sound in another language. So to make an argument that a word like that wasn't used before and you're somehow some kind of a scholar, well, to begin by saying that Hebrew and Aramaic aren't related, you're a dunderhead. But beyond the dunderheadedness of that, there is no right and wrong way to transliterate a word.
Well, she mentioned Arabic.
Oh,
That
yes.
Arabic
absolutely. There is a Arabic, well, okay. Then now to say that Arabic doesn't belong with Hebrew, I have translated the whole Quran. I can tell you the Quran is written in bastardized Hebrew. So if you're not smart enough to know that then she's not be stupid here, but to not know of the direct link between Hebrew and Arabic, then you're really a dunderhead. For example, Quran is from the Hebrew Kara, and when rabbis sold Talmud stories to Muhammad, he brought in the Hebrew terms, and so the Quran is hugely filled. Like kafir is a Hebrew word; it comes from kafar. The Quran is filled with Hebrew. So to say that Arabic is not derived from Hebrew is to be a dunderhead. And then what Leah did is she's Nakba is the Arabic term to describe Israel becoming a state again and being reestablished again. So they call that the Great Nakba. And Nakba, transliterated the same way, is a unclean woman in Hebrew. So Hebrew has a word that is pronounced Nakba, and then there is the Great Nakba of the Arabs. And so what Leah is doing is being wise, and so she's taking these concepts because so many people are familiar with the Muslim complaint of the Great Nakba of Israel being reestablished as a state, and them calling that horrid and disastrous and mean and all that kind of stuff. And this Hebrew word Nakba, which is transliterated the same way, and how it speaks of an unclean woman. So Leah it's a very sophisticated play on words. It's up there in the Elia class and creativity as a play on words. So she was not smart enough to get it. So there you go. That is that's the answer to that one. But what's amazing is you can have access to the 35 books that I've written, and soon to be more, because I'll publish these 3 that I'm writing right now. And you can listen to these shows, and all you get out of it is a desire to undermine and attack. That's pretty amazing. And I can tell you that I have never been to their site. I've never read anything that they have written. All I do is somebody will point out they've done something. They'll send me a snippet of it, and I'll respond to it because credibility's sake, it's important that I do that. But I have no interest in finding out what they're doing. I do not care. You want to go and worship a mother goddess, that's up to them. I do not give a crap. I do care when they play themselves off as me, when I designed this website and then they established their website, and they even went to the new logo of the menorah that we went to and even copied the bookshelf that I had asked to have created, and used my translations and used my name and then copied this amplified translation style that I invented. They're passing themselves off as me. And she even wrote that she was going to do that. That is a crime. And I care about that. But whatever else they want to believe, I don't give a crap. There is nobody in that group that I ever want to see or hear from again. But look at what their fixation is. Me.
Look at Yahweh's responses to what they have written.
Yeah,
Has
every
he
time
ever
they
gotten that specific with any individuals.
No, it's every time. Yeah, it just when this next one is even more of a whammy. But he's not doing it for them. He's not trying to save them.
Look at how much we've learned for every one of those.
Oh yeah, it's such an affirmation for us, such growth for us, such tremendous benefit for everybody who is part of this covenant family and is now engaged doing something. It should instill tremendous confidence in you that God protects those he loves. If you're working with God, he will absolutely have your back all of the time. And he loves this whole process, and he wants us to endure this process so that he can tangibly demonstrate his support, and that he wrote his support thousands of years ago for this exact purpose. And it's such a teaching moment to do it. And there's, as I say, this next one is the ultimate. I can't imagine God ever going beyond this next one. But again, he's not doing it for them. He has no interest in saving them.
He's already condemned.
He is thrilled that they're gone and never wants to hear from them or see them again. And that would be the best advice I could give them, is just go find something else to talk about. Yeah, you've tried to change Yahweh's name. That's an unforgivable crime. You've gone after two people that he dearly loves, and everybody that's part of the covenant, and broken it. It's an unforgivable crime. You're done. So just go away. Yes, Kirk.
What you just said about 2 sentences ago just absolutely blows me away. When all of a sudden I had this thought, Yahweh obviously knew who the children was and what he was going to do and what's happening. And he actually wrote it all down. I mean, numerous times for every occurrence. That's freaky. That's just freaky good. I mean, just like, wow.
Wow. Yeah. Every time they did something, he has a revelation in it and it says, yeah, I got your back.
Long ago.
You're my guy. You're my guy. The term that Yahweh uses so much now is kala. You're my guy. You're kala. You're my finisher. You're my closer.
Yeah.
You're my kala, and that is my finisher, my closer, my person that gets it done, and you get it done in the end. And I'm proud of you, and I'm pleased with what we've accomplished together. And it's pure collaboration, because he only works through people, but he makes it possible for those people to do what they need to do.
And may I also say that in this last week, it seems like I never thought about y'all having quite so much fun that he, like he was bugging you when you were.
Yeah. Oh no, he's having a ball with
going, well, get up and go figure this out.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah. After that kidney stone episode and during all that pain and I'm just happy to go. I said, okay, man, if I get an early get out of jail, man, I'm going. I'm taking my ticket and I'm gone. See you later. I'm going to give you, here's the keys to the kingdom. I'll see you in 10 months. And Leah wasn't very happy with that idea, but I thought it was great. And then God just 3 nights in a row, he says, I'm here to tell you that there's a lesson in that. And I want you to learn the lesson in that. 7 hours of intense pain. And I'm going to give you the first clue. It has to do with Passover. You go figure it out. And I remember that first night I said, come on, I've just passed a kidney stone. It was you've passed 3 of them or 4 of them. Kirk's all about that. And it hurts to beat the devil. I'll tell you, it really hurts. And my body's worn out. I'm really tired and I really want some sleep. And he said, now come on, we went through this. You don't have to go through it again. So we'll learn the lesson. What is it about the 7 hours of pain that you need to understand pursuant to, and I'll give you the clue, a Pesach.
Do it while it's fresh.
And that first night I didn't figure it out. The next day I didn't figure it out. Then we did it again the next night, and we did it again the next night. And I'm saying, okay, now I am really, really tired. I really, really need some sleep. So let's hope we get this together on, I guess it was Wednesday. And sure enough, there it was. And it was in the place that was just so profound. And I just happened to be there because I was entering JK's edits, and he's such a good copy editor. And I was entering JK's edits, and I'd gotten to the Yashaya 11, the presentation of the Choder. And while I'm doing it, I said, while I'm here, let me tighten up these translations. I've learned so much since that time. And then, boom. Oh, my God. It was just riveting. And I've shared it with you. And then we went back to the 10th chapter, and it's far more prophetic, profound, affirming, gut-wrenching, pertinent than is the Choder presentation. It explains why the Choder was necessary with the 7 spirits of Yahweh. So yeah, God's and so when I first saw this, I said, "Come on, God, this is getting old." I'm giving it my best. I'm here every day. I'm learning. We're having real success. Why do I need this aggravation? And I said, "Come on, can't you deal with this for me, please? Thank you very much." And I get by, yeah, I did. Maybe you need to figure it out because I already answered this one for you. And I think you're really going to like my answer. And it's, oh my, it's great. So we'll be sharing that in future programs. I will tell you that that it just as a general rule here, the reason I'm having so much fun with this and how I spent exactly 0 seconds preparing for this. I did give Perry and Rich some time to prepare for this, but I spent 0 time preparing for it because I am so comfortable with 2 things. Trusting Yeshua. Isaiah is the guy. What Isaiah says always comes true. So when Isaiah made it very clear that at this time we were entering the time of Israel's trouble, she was going to be eviscerated and she was going to be vulnerable, and it was going to happen in conjunction, this transition between Shavua and Teruah in this time of Israel's troubles, and went through all of the things that are going to happen as a result of that. And then he describes Trump in America in the 18th chapter. And then we find Trump is this belligerent, egotistical, sexually perverted, deadly confabulator. I don't think I could ever be more confident that we got this one right.
Mm-hmm.
But I told the fellas, and we'll go play some of Leia's songs on Trump as the Copper Con and Star Spangled Cross Play and Mr. Babylon. I told the fellas today that it's always important that we at least have somebody read something. Anytime somebody is willing to try to discredit me or Yada Yahweh, and that's the purpose of that website, is to discredit Yada Yahweh and me, is that we check to see, is there any vulnerability? Is there anything that I have claimed that we need to go back and either re-verify or reconfirm or maybe say, yeah, we got that one wrong. And the reason I said it is that over these past 25 years, it's not 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 or 50 or 100 or 500 or 1,000. There's thousands and thousands of previously unknown and profoundly important conclusions and insights that I have derived. And thus far, no one has found any conclusion or insight that I have derived from Yahweh's testimony that is invalid. There are some that I have significantly enhanced my understanding, but it was always on my own reconnaissance. I found out that something was amiss, or I learned more and updated our knowledge base on that particular topic. So there are some that I have enhanced, but let's say there's 10,000 of these. There may have been 10 that I have enhanced over time or altered my conclusion based upon subsequent knowledge. And therefore 9,990 of them that have withstood the test of time. And there's not a single one that somebody has actually invalidated and done so using Yahweh's testimony or reason or history or anything of that nature. So that's a lot. That's a lot. And with every new revelation, you make yourself vulnerable again. And the thing to keep in mind too is that 2 things. One is that you can't disprove the validity of my relationship with Yahweh by proving that there are 10 or even 100 things that I've said that can be perceived a different way, because you'd have to disprove most of them. And sometimes you could even say, because the things that I've concluded are so powerful, you'd have to disprove all of them. But you're certainly not going to get it done with 1 or 5 or 10 or even 100. And so far, nobody's had one. So no one's anywhere close. But the other thing I would say is that if God played the game differently and made it such that every conclusion that I draw, every insight that I form, every thought that I convey was fully and completely accurate, then it would be a scam. I wouldn't be human.
There's no growth there.
I wouldn't be an exemplar.
Hmm.
The whole thing that these rules is to be the example God wants to set for this process, which is to listen, to learn, and to live. It is to be willing to invest the time to think it through, to make the connections, and then to analyze them and to be systematic and consistent in your approach, and to do it over and over again, and to build a foundation and then build upon that, and then share what you learn freely, and as you learn more, grow and develop that further. That is the process that God likes. That's the one he is trying to establish. And so there is no example ever of somebody that knows it all, including, guess who? Yahweh doesn't know it all. Doesn't want to. Would ruin everything. It's life would have no purpose. That's why being perfect is such a stupid thing. So you aren't going to invalidate this by disproving a conclusion. You know, if I were wrong on Trump, okay, it'd be a bitter blow to me, because boy, the evidence is so overwhelming, and we've validated through so many prophets and so much of what Trump said. It would be a real shocking surprise to me, and I'd have to really quadruple down to say, how in the world did we come up to this conclusion based upon all of these insights and have it not be right? But, is that one of the words of the day was time will tell. Sometimes you have to build a bigger base. Sometimes you have to learn other things before you can make the proper connections, and that something is even more obvious later on. But boy, thousands and thousands and thousands of profound insights and conclusions and predictions, and the legacy is beyond anything that anyone else has ever done. And it's all in writing, and it all has a legacy that you can go and check it. So there's just nothing like this. And so what you'd end up having to say is that if I'm not who God says I am, then there is no one. Then there is no Nakar. Then there is no Choder. Then there is no Bashar. Then there is no Yada. In fact, there wouldn't even be a Yahweh, because no one knew his name. There wouldn't be a Dode as the returning king or savior. He'd have no one to come back to. There'd be no understanding the covenant. There'd be no understanding what the Moedim represent. None of it. It would just all dissipate. You'd be left with Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. That's where you'd be.
Tell me then.
And so, if you were to try to refute that, you have nothing. You have a God that's unknown, a covenant that can't be engaged in, Moedim that are now meaningless, a timeline that is unknown, a savior that has been forgotten. You've got nothing. So let's, on that note, unless somebody wants to say, JB, you got something you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Anything that you would criticize of any of that?
No, that's pretty much spot on.
So let's play the first one that she
Halal
did.
Ben Shakar?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Devil in disguise.
Halal Ben Shahar. gonna tear your kingdom down. Yes, we will. Oh, you copper con, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. Oh yes, hit me one more time. You've been building your kingdom all over the land, which you do not own. Oh, tearing Israel's heart out like one of your naughty little girls. Hush your time. We're gonna tear your kingdom down, down. Yes, we are. Yada. Oh, yes, is the last witness. He gonna meet with you on the ridge line. Your kingdom down. Yahweh Almighty, lift him up. The man of Edom, he gonna tell the truth about measurement to all the people so they can hear it for themselves. Oh, Satan, he gonna tear your kingdom down. Oh yes, you've been building your kingdom all over this land. Hallelujah. Yahweh soon come. Satan, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. Not only that, but listen now. The mothers are gonna say, hey, hey, Yahweh Almighty. The mothers are gonna say while the children play. Satan, we gon' bring your kingdom down. You hear me now? Your time is short. You've been building your kingdom all over the creation of Yahweh. Satan, yes you, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. Not only that, but listen. Satan, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. Yes, we are. With our bare hands, we will. Satan, oh, halal ben shakar. We're gonna tear your kingdom down. You've been building your kingdom all over this land, taking bribes and paying off girls who know too much. Satan, oh yes, Trump the Comic-Con, the loser unbound, no creative will of his own, just an evil mindless, up to not tone. Listen up and hear me one time. We're gonna tear. Oh yeah, we gonna tear. We gonna tear. Oh yeah, we gonna tear your kingdom down to Sheol, where you belong. All the religious and political with you, like chaff in the wind, you will be gone. You've been building your kingdom all in the house of Yahweh. Satan, we're gonna tear. We're gonna tear your damned kingdom down.
I love the Soul Sisters.
Boy, I tell you what, the woman has a gift.
I tell you.
You know,
I
in
like
terms
that.
of Yeah, Trump being this Rahab, the great betrayer. Not only is he president of the United States at the moment that Yeshua Isaiah said that the United States would be the leader of the United States would betray Israel, and described the United States to a T, and gave the exact timing that we would have him emerge, and Trump emerged in that timing, so it's undeniable. But just think, I mean, he's got a private militia in ICE that is out hiring goons with guns and terrorizing Americans. He went and told the military of the United States that they're going to be deployed in the United States against his political enemies. He started not one but two wars against Iran, and has brought the world's economy to its knees. And every time he speaks of it, he lies about it. He signs memorandums of understanding and violates them the next day, and then calls the other people scum. He gives a speech last night where everything he said in the first 10 minutes of the speech was an outright lie. And then the purpose of his speech was to blame China for stealing an election, is proven untrue by his own government, and he gives no evidence for it whatsoever. And the guy that came up with the scheme is interviewed, leaving the White House and saying, yeah, it's true. We can't find a single vote that the Chinese influenced, nor can we even show that the Chinese were involved or acted in any way. And no, nothing, that there is no proof for any of this. That was John Solomon, interviewed as he was leaving the White House last night.
So he ran away from
literally. Well, no, he wasn't running away. He wanted to
he was
be in the
pulled
spotlight.
away.
He was pulled away by one of Trump's blonde handlers. Everything the man says and does, the way that he has over the last few months betrayed Israel, is a perfect indication of all of this. The way that he eviscerates everyone that's around him and became the Hannibal Lecter of politics. The fact that he is a confabulator, and there's no correlation between what he believes and says and reality. The fact that his handlers and he himself presents himself as a messianic figure, that he presents himself as Pope, he presented himself as Jesus. They present him all the time as this bigger than life, literally messianic figure, and all of their postings regarding him. He has a worshipful following in MAGA, literally a cult of followers. He has his own Goebbels and Stephen Miller. And he is egomaniacal beyond any narcissist in human history. And he's a sexual pervert. He's a pedophile and a rapist. And he's a convicted felon. And he would be convicted of every crime that he's been accused of if they just continued with those cases, and he'd been bankrupt in jail. He is involved in multiple wars now around the world, kidnappings and murderous rage, committing all manner of war crimes in Iran, blowing up civilian infrastructure, and continuing to threaten blowing up more civilian infrastructure, as if continuing to commit grotesque crimes, unjustified crimes, after losing every aspect of the war, were somehow a good thing, when in fact it's deplorable. Every place you turn, including every depiction of him, is Satan. And for it not to be obvious, for someone to push back against the obvious, you'd have to say, what sickness has corrupted this person's conscience such that they would throw away their soul to deny the obvious. Want to play Mr. Babylon?
Yeah, we got it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did it do ba do ba 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 da cup Babylon. You beast, your bitch, holding them down in the ditch. You wash children, you turn to pitch. Your feast, your scribes, your priests, your imams, your rabbi, they do lie. Getting high on that narcissistic supply. Stop your wars and you copper can. Come on, come on, well, well, well. Babylon cause all the problems. They make the wars, but you don't know how to solve them. Oh no, you don't, no, 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 no. Liars make all them trouble. Oh, they make the wars make you look. No, no, but don't know how to solve them. Oh no, 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 yeah. No, 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 no. Oh yeah, you got your devils to fly overhead and drop your bombs upon the innocent. Well, that stuff he says, oh Babylon, let me tell you, Mr. Babylon, war is not our solution. We want you in dissolution. War and strife is not the solution. Never was, never will be. So Mr. Babylon, the copper can't us. Babylon cause all them troubles. Oh yeah, how are you told us? Oh yes you did. They make the wars, they make them deals with those that hater. They gonna ravage her, that's cat, Babylon. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh Babylon, you be doom, 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 doom. Systems make all the problems. Chewing up them innocent to their problems. They got no solution. They bury their minds in some new potion. Them pray to a God that cannot save them, all going down to the grave. Oh no, 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 no. Let me tell you, war is not our solution. Religion is not our solution. War, religion and strife is not the solution. Never was, never will be. So global sheriff mashing down the earth with your iron fist. You the clown. Global sheriff messing around, killing his own, taking bribes, grabbing kitty and coming with a fool's philosophy. You think that war gonna bring you peace prize? Why don't you just steal one? Let me tell you now, oh Mr. Babylon, blood dripping down your hair now, blood dripping down your collar now, blood running down your hands, blood running down your streets. Babylon cause all them troubles. Oh yeah, how are you told us? Oh yes you did. They make the wars, they make them deals with those that hate her. They're gonna ravage her, that's cat, Babylon. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh Babylon, you be doom, 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 doom. Babylon cause all the problems. They make them wars fly those drums. Babylon cause all the problems, but them don't know how to solve them. Hey, oh yeah, yeah. Babylon make all them troubles, suffering the unthinking masses. To their problems they got no solution. No, 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 no. Oh yeah, Babylon cause all the problems. Yeah, 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 yeah. Stop the children are making more wars. Hey warmonger, stop your war. You gonna kill us all. Oh yeah. Oh no 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 no. Yeah 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 yeah. Oh yeah yeah. Did it do ba do ba 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 da cup soap ay 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 oh.
Full of shiticus there. We definitely have our fun with all of this. But just think of his statements at the NATO conference on how grossly out of touch he was with reality, demanding that he get Greenland, threatening to throw a tizzy fit. And then he praises Erdogan as if Erdogan is his twin. And he tells the audience that he's in charge of the world. And then he offers to sell Turkey, after Israel pleaded for him not to, F-35s, making a secret deal with Turkey because he knows what those F-35s are going to be used for. They're going to be used to fly cover for the Iranians when they come and invade Israel. He is not only betraying Israel, he's providing Turkey with the military equipment to get that job done. And there he is praising Jolani again. It is so obvious that this is the man. There's no one close to it. He even, when we told you that he is going to go to Israel and he will be there January 30th of 2030, and that on the Ides of March, because he's building the Fourth Reich in Roman style, that he's going to announce that he's God. He went and had a statement. He says, I have a 90-something 9% popularity in Israel. I could run for prime minister and I'd win.
Mm-hmm.
Even said he's going to do it. He's pronounced that he is going to have Trump 48, and that Trump 48 will therefore be no constitutional election in 2028. Building the Ark Day Trump. It's the great ballroom for Trump. It's also obvious. It's amazing but that's the whole nature of conspiratorialists. They see the dot on the wall and they're going to make a story about the dot on the wall, and not have any ability to make connections between the mountain of evidence that they're ignoring while they're making a big whoop-de-doo of the dot on a wall. But that was a brilliant presentation. That was a collaboration of many people, and I really appreciate how well that was done. There is another one of the great songs that has ever been written for our time, further exposing, as only Leah can, and the team that supports her. This was, I think, is a brilliant song. This is a woman that is inspired to tell the truth boldly and creatively. And one day this song is going to become a number one hit. And there are those who think that once God wipes out the likes of this cult and all religious cults and all the political advocates and military advocates and those that are attacking God's people and those who speak for God, that there'll be no remembrance of them. That's not true. God's going to make certain that we never allow this to happen again, because we have a pungent memory of what they have done. God goes on a very profound declarative statement to say, we're not going to forget this. I hate it, and I'm never going to forget it, and you're not going to forget it, because we're never going to have a repeat of this. So it's songs like this that do it in such an effective way, far more than any words we're ever going to speak. Let's share Star Spangled Cosplay, written by Leah.
Just ask the Donald Colt. It's all fake news that he a bad guy. Wonderful, wonderful. In star-spangled banner, shit-stained underwear. Believe me, we're going to drain the swamp. I've never seen anything like it. So much fake news, calling it a witch hunt. Just because we say the system is too big to rig. Oh baby, that's old school, but we're doing it anyway to make America great again. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed twilight's last ride, whose broad lies and alibis through the perilous night, or the YouTube we watched so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in Iran gave proof through the Epstein files that Trump's name was still there. Oh, say does that copper con man wave that star-spangled banner yet that way? Oh, the land of the arrogant and the home of the dead slaves. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the arrogance. And one more thing, can I invade your country? Oh, baby, baby, can I invade your country? Oh, baby, baby, can I invade your country? Oh, baby, baby, can I invade your country? Oh, invade your country. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed Satan at Rahab last right, whose broad sex trafficking ring went on through the decades? Oh, the truth social we watched, so doom scrolling our doom, and the corruption, the theft, the murders and lies, the alibis gave proof through the evidence that Trump's name is still there, allegedly and unredacted. It's all predicted. Predators, grifters, unfuckables, and the cosplay president. I am predicated on who's your daddy. Oh, say does that copper conman wave that star-spangled banner yet? Or the land of the deceived and the home of the lame? Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free. And one more thing, can I invade your country? Oh, baby, baby, can I invade your country? Oh, baby, baby, can I invade your country? Oh, baby, let's invade. Believe me, we're going to drain the swamp. I've never seen anything like it. So much fake news, like my wife, it's all fake. Oh, calling it a witch hunt just because we say the system is too big to rig. Oh, baby, that's old school, but we're doing it anyway to make America great again.
You know, I read a score of newspapers. I survey the feeds on social media sites so that I can keep the blog on yada yada current. Every evening, I unwind by watching a couple of hours of expert programming on YouTube. And to a person, without exception, every scholastic or well-credentialed spokesperson talking about the events in Ukraine, Russia, Iran, the economy, world affairs, to a person, openly recognizes and acknowledges the President of the United States is psychotic, demented, insane, narcissistic, that his ego is so out of control that he can't accept any solution is going to destroy the whole world because he can't accept defeat. They all know it. They all say it openly. The difference is that I know the prophets probably better than anyone ever. And based upon the entirety of what the prophets reveal, Donald Trump is the great betrayer. He's the one who betrays Israel. The fact that he destroys the world is interesting, but it's not what God cares about. He cares about his people. And the man who is the most destructive to his people, who will betray them, is Donald Trump. And it's obvious. I mean, you'd have to be MAGA level brain dead to not see it. Everybody apart from MAGA conspirators and Twistians recognize it. So what does it say about the conspiracy cult that wants to deny it? What does it say about them?
They're no different than MAGA.
They are no different than MAGA. They're no different than Twistians. They're no different than any other conspiratorialists. What do you think there, Kevin? You have a closing comment?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I just, the whole premise of this thing that took place and happened and how it happened and everything just blows my mind about how you can be the guy until we don't like you and then you're not the guy anymore in any way, shape, or form, right? I mean,
Yes.
How many of them would know who Dowd was if they had never heard of you? How many of them?
Or Yahweh, or the Covenant,
Or Yahweh,
or the Moedim.
Absolutely, absolutely.
None of
And
it.
yet,
Yeah.
it blows my mind. And so after
and
that point,
they bailed at the time that our knowledge increased exponentially.
Mhm.
Yeah, it blows, and they still listen because they're paranoid. Yeah, it's truly astonishing, but it's needed. It's needed. God has dealt with the fractured family in Israel, and any way that He can model that, and those who speak for Him, the more effective that voice is going to be for Him. You're going to have empathy. You're going to understand it, and you're going to allow Him to do what God does best, which is defend His people. And so it has value in that point of view. You are the father, Kevin, of something that is really extraordinary that I think this weekend will go live on our site. That probably is the single most destructive thing that we could bring against this gaggle of goons.
oh, okay.
It's the family page, because there isn't one Craig. There's 150 of us, and we all speak with the same voice. We all go to the same source. We all support the same God. We all support the same Israel. We all celebrate the same Moedim. We all share the same Torah. And when you see that page, the family page, and I'd be happy if it was a link directly from the header. I think that the family page and the talking books are two of the most extraordinary things ever. But you see that family page and listen to all of those people share their story. It devours them. And it says that, no, we're not one person. We're a very powerful influence in this world. And that is something really exceptional. And And then to see, the Y2Kers, that group of shows they have. You see Roger, it should be Deep Dive with Roger, because of his, but he's just disciplined and tough and tenacious and wise and experienced and incredible. You see Will in his presentations. I mean, they happen to be my favorite because I just like his style and his approach so much. But you see Matt and Shannon together and bringing people together through the covenant in such a real and tangible way. Mariah and Roger Russell, presentation. I thought they were so beautifully done. And to see the book club that has been put together, and to see all of the programs that Mark is leading, and witness John's contribution, and it just goes on, and it's powerful, it's widespread, it's deep, it's phenomenal. I'm so proud of what we've become, and just go to the family page, or go open a book. Go open a book and listen, and you go and find somebody else that's written a book like the 5 volumes of Goddamn Religion Now that talk to you, or the 5 volumes of Twistianity. Go find somebody else that's done that at the time that it needed to be done, or that has written books on the time of trouble before we got there. Same was going to happen over these next 7 years. I was writing 3 books concurrently on 3 volumes of Coming Home, all just riveting with insights and powerful conclusions. Go find that elsewhere. And the answer is, not only doesn't exist elsewhere, not even 1/1,000,000th of it exists anywhere else. It's a difference by magnitude that is extraordinary. And it's why I finally said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to yadayah.com. I do not care what happens on any social media account. We're not out here to recruit anybody. I don't care how you respond to this program. Our job now is to teach the covenant family, to give the covenant family the opportunity to learn to be teachers, and to develop into all God would like us to be as we are redeployed here in a matter of a few years, and then have the responsibility of reestablishing the remnant that Yah was so proud of and so pleased with, to be the kind of people he wants. We have a real responsibility, and now it's all about preparing for that. We now know that Israel is not going to listen. They're like the pebbles that are tossed from the sea, hard as rocks. They are not going to listen. But it's still our responsibility to tell the message, because there will be a time when there will be Israelites that will listen and they will participate in the teruah gleaning. And in the end, there will be the rare Israelite that will be part of that final remnant that God will collect from around the world. And we need to be prepared with this library to educate them and to acquaint them with the tree of knowledge and lead them to the tree of lives. So that's our goal. And we will continue to expose religious and political evil, to encourage people to walk away from it, because they have to do that before they can even approach the covenant. So this is our calling. This is what we're about. What do you think, Perry?
Well, I agree that the family page is important. Going through this diatribe from the cult. They try to claim that we are a cult, but I might have been following you through this journey for more than 20 years, but I am not a follower. I go my own way no matter what happens to be where you're going. And everyone has got their own viewpoints and their own understanding. And the family page lets everyone see that we are not followers.
We're the leaders.
We're leaders. We're the family.
Yeah. And matter of fact, today you and Kirk and Noah have going with the words lead. It's going to be your vlog. And Dr. Jeff, you're teaming with my wife to do refuting rabbinic rubbish. And JB, you have made a contribution through the Iowa vlog and through your website that has so dutifully captured everything that we have said and written over the years and added to it. You've made tremendous contributions to this family. So we are the contributors. And I can assure you that there's not one person here that I have ever solicited money for, that I've ever solicited a Pledge of Allegiance from, that I've ever told that they need to do something for me, or that I've compromised in any way. Rich is here not because I asked him to come, but because Yahweh asked him to come. Perry is here not because I asked him to come, because I didn't. I didn't even ask Rich to come. Perry is here because Yahweh said, you're going. Everybody here, we've known each other for 15 to 20 years. We've been through a lot together. It's a long time. We've outlasted most marriages by 2 times over. It's there is something to be said for that kind of camaraderie, that kind of support, and I can assure you that of these 6, if we had Rich in a circle here, there's not a single one of the individuals in this group that I wrote me after they first heard me and came to the website and began to read the books that I'd provided free. Not one of you. In many cases, you were years in reading before you even sent me a note to say, oh, by the way, I'm benefiting from these books and I'm part of the covenant family, and here I am, this is who I am. And so it's the opposite of what is being claimed. And every single one of you did as I had asked, which is go validate the translations. I've written these translations unlike anyone ever. And while I have in many cases explained what my reasoning was of rendering something a certain way so that you'd understand what the thought process was, I did something no one had ever done. I created the most generic form of the Hebrew word, and I made it available within the parenthetical so that you can plug it into a search engine and verify the translation for yourself. No one's ever done that before. And Kirk, how many times do you think you did that?
Night after night after night.
And what you finally found is, okay, there is never a single time that I haven't been able to verify that the translation was true, but I keep on doing it because every time I do it, I'm reinforcing it, and the reinforcement feels good.
Let me redeem myself and say one thing that I just discovered. And I'm going to do it with Asher because I flubbed Asher. I flubbed Asher tonight. And maybe Perry will want to work with me somewhere down the road. And I was writing it down. I wrote it. I said, Asher, and I know that you describe it every time as to show the way to the relationship, which I think is so much better than the lexicons to do to say to point you down the right path. That's the big difference. And I know it's a noun, and and it's a famous
bird.
dog, and all those sort of
Yeah.
things. However,
famous dog.
I was sitting here writing in pictographs, which is my favorite form of pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote the Aleph, and
Mhm.
and now we interpret it both as, I always said it's a pointed chin, so it's got to be at least a round, and then there's got to be a bull because that's the bar across holding the bull. You
And
know,
the
so
antlers are
don't
bull.
me. This
Yeah,
is
the horns.
this is not an either or. This is
No.
I got a couple of guys.
Mhm,
Look at
yeah.
the word. I got a couple of guys, and I'm going to use words, chin.
Yep.
But I'm
Shin.
also going. It also means pressure, and we're right at the pressure stage with the last 7 years to pressure you to get down there. And then the third word is for whom, people who engage the Rosh.
Yeah, their heads.
So I'm trying to redeem Asher.
Yes. Yeah.
I do know something. It's just slow coming now.
Yeah, Asher is a
great word.
profoundly important word, and it's beautifully described in the original alphabet of Hebrew. Something that we've really advanced people's understanding of and appreciation of with our depiction of it, and introduced people to it. So, a profoundly important thing, and it's been a huge part of your growth and understanding, and what you're going to add to the program, going where the words lead.
But it's just fun. It's been there all the time,
Yeah.
and nobody looked at it till you came along.
JB, I know that you're working, or know that Mike works, and it's tough to get time away from work and family and that sort of thing. But you both live fairly close to one another.
Yeah.
That just as a possibility, and excuse me for looking, it looks like on the screen that I'm looking away from you, but I'm actually looking at the screen towards you. It's just that everything is reversed on the way the monitors work. But he knows his material. I mean, he really, really knows his material. You're another person that knows the details. You're really into the details. You love the words. You've translated the words. You've researched the words. The two of you would, I think, really be dynamic together. You ever think there's a possibility maybe the two of you hook up and do a show that's more technical? We have, a lot of fun, kind of friendly shows, which are important because I have a tendency to speak at a level that is sometimes hard for people to process. And so it's really important to have a group that does shows that are communicated on a level that resonate with people more. You guys would not be that. You would be more like me, but because you think at exceedingly high level, and your knowledge base is really exceptional. But Mike's is too.
Oh yeah. I really like me. I've had him over to the house a few times now, actually, and me and him get along great. I would love to do a show with him. I'm just, trying to find time and, all that where we can both, and then what we want to do. So, but I need to reach out to him and try and do a little more to, we get something set up.
You could do a really technical show, and it'd be, I just think, extraordinary. And you are fairly close to together. You get along great. Your personalities mesh beautifully. And if you only did it twice a month, you worked at it for an hour or so twice a month, I think it would make a huge positive impact. And and for some softness in the whole thing, bring Patty in and let her respond to some of the things you're saying too, because she's really a jewel. It's I just think you guys would be great. So I'd encourage it. I hope that you can do it. I'd love to see your faces on that family page too, knowing just how deep the discussion would be and how beneficial it would be for really thoughtful people. So anyway, we will conclude this. Except Dr. Jeff, what would you like to add? Because you are our erudite one. You were even the one that was able to incorporate the word for the day into our.
I just, to put an exclamation point on this Mother Goddess cult, I just want to say, Hanuk, Noah, Boaz, Meidod, Ethan Hazraki, Yada, Craig, Yash Choda, and Nakrai. It is game, set, match.
Yeah.
Finish.
Yeah, it's that we won the Yacht Club Cup, according to Ya. Now, there weren't a lot of competition in the Yacht Cup that we won, but we go out flaming. I can tell you that. So long as you have Ya applauding, then it doesn't really matter
Don't
how many
matter
other
what the
people
crowd
play.
does.
When Ya hands us the golden participation trophy and thanks us. We're not going to mention, that's great that you said we prevailed and we won here. We didn't have any competition, but nonetheless, I appreciate the acknowledgement. I don't think he's going to care that that we had no competition. Yeah, we just showed up. We finished the job, and he is just so pleased that we finished the job. The reason we get deployed is because we don't give up. And that can be true with all of us. We're here we are absolutely steadfast. There is no way that any of us are going to be detoured from what we know and for what we're committed to accomplishing. None.
You're here.
We just had Miss Leah walk in. In fact, she would have to be able to show you how pretty Cara is tonight. Hopefully they can show. Okay, we're going to have the camera come on. Miss Leah.
She learned a new trick too.
Right now you have Perry over Cara, and you'd have to remove Perry from picture in picture. Well, you did the other way around. There you go.
She learned a new trick too.
This is Cara. She's in her pretty pink dress. You can pick her up and hold her. Yeah, isn't that cute?
And her pearls.
Oh, she's wearing pearls too. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's high class.
That's high. That's that's our Cara girl. So Leah, we played a lot of your songs tonight.
Yes.
Yes. 5 of them this evening. And we defended your honor.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
we had a little help from Iowa, but they're never going to turn that down. But we defended your honor, and it was an honor to do so. Your songs are marvelous. Your contribution is marvelous. Your both of us have been badly abused by that group of malcontents.
Oh yes.
And they've been nastier to you than they have to me. And the unfairness of all of that is that you were so open and so helpful to them. And it's different for me. I'm built to take it. I mean, I was made for this purpose. My personality is such that I know exactly who I am and what I'm doing. And you're nothing but a means to tell God's story. You're a tool that can be used to tell God's story. A dented and ugly tool for sure, but it's different when they go after you. I'm sorry that they have done that, and I have tried to isolate you from it because it's so hurtful. And in my cases, again, I was built for it. So it's just an opportunity to spar, to validate God's position, our position with Yahweh. We have now Wookie on the keyboard. He has just added a line of C's to monarchical or dictatorial. So we were obviously dealing.
Well, he's an even worse typist than I am.
Yeah, he's quite the keyboard jihadist, Mr. Wook is.
I did want to say something before we go on.
Please.
It is true that after I exposed Larry Hendricks and company, I stopped talking to everyone. I just cut everyone off with the exception of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I genuinely treated her as a sister.
You did.
And as a friend.
Yeah, you did. And
However,
she betrayed you.
Oh, yes, horribly. She wasn't the first woman to betray me horribly.
No. Or the
However,
first man.
she will be the last.
Yeah, you'll never expose yourself to that again.
No.
No, she was. Unfortunately for me, she will not be the last person that betrays me, not by a long shot. But again, as they say, I was just built for it. I have the endurance for it, a very thick skin. So, but for you, that was grossly unfair, and they were all in on it.
Oh, there! I call them the Mean Girls Club. That's
Yeah,
it.
they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, they present themselves as exactly the opposite of who they are.
They do.
But it serves to explain something that is so important to God, and that's why it's a lesson. And the lesson is, you better be really careful before you say that you're in a position to speak for God, because those people are few and far between, and they know who they are, and you're not one of them.
Definitely not.
The second thing that you really need to know is that before you go and offer your contrary positions, you really need to think them through. And if you don't, you're going to say something that is conspiratorial and stupid. And that's something you ought not do.
There's nothing that chafes me worse than a conspiratorial mind.
Yeah,
I can't stand it.
It's a travesty.
Yeah.
But the other part of it is that God is real serious about this Kalal stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Finishing. No giving up. See it through. It's the whole reason why we are told the Garden of Eden experience. It's the whole reason we meet up with Noach again. It's the whole reason that Dode, who had so many troubles, that his relationship with Yahweh was restored. It's why we're in the business of repairing his reputation and representing him to the world. God has a plan, and he's picked people that are going to see it to fruition. And you don't want to get in their way, because they are the finishers, and God is already on record saying they finish, they get it done. And the job that they're doing is the single most important in the universe. And if they were to fail, there'd be no life on this planet. It would all go away. So to root against them is insanity. It would take everything from everybody. If the Adam Parah doesn't lay down his life on Teruah, you're in real trouble. If Yada doesn't show up as one of those two witnesses, the world's in serious trouble. So just be careful. There is nothing to replace Yada Yahweh, the series of books. There's nothing to replace this Yahweh blog. There's nothing that comes close. And God's all in with the prophecies affirming it. And if you don't know them, well, shame on you. That's okay. But keep to yourself.
That little witch and her minions have none of this. Where's their Nekar? Where's their 20 years of insights? Can they write any of that down without using ChatGTP? No.
No receipts, no evidence, no facts, just BS.
But again, the purpose of this program was to show the evidence behind and the reasoning behind and the proof behind the conclusions that we offer. We don't offer them lightly. And we know the prophets better than anyone. And when we make a claim based on the prophets, we're right. And if you want to go challenge that, you're not just wrong, but you're putting yourself at crosshairs with God. And that's a really bad choice.
Good luck with that.
All right. Well, Shabbat Shalom. Well,
Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, and the program with the good song. And Kevin, man, you are a trooper to have put up with me for 5.5, almost 6 hours today. That's tough duty, pal. You should get combat pay for today, particularly as intense as this morning was.
Mm.
And Rich, you were here every second of that.
I'm always here.
Yep.
I'm not going anywhere.
True. Yeah,
I'm not
Rich is
going
always
anywhere.
here. Yeah, Rich
He's going to become the man in the circle, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
he
talked
is.
about
that.
Yeah, Rich is just the most reliable, consistent, devoted guy you could ever possibly even dream of having in your corner. And yeah, he is going to be the man in the circle. What we realize is that Rich can't do an independent show because Rich is already doing like 12 jobs, and he's already putting in 14-hour days. And so it just would not work to have Rich do another show. It's why
I'll do cameos.
That's why I say to Kevin, and I appreciate the fact that Kevin is the guy that really is making that family page and all those programs work. But to have Kevin do another show apart from the vlog on the vlog, it's just not practical. You're getting plenty of face time on that pro. Yeah. So what we're going to do is that anytime that there isn't a guest host on the vlog, Kevin's going to be Rich is going to be the guy in the circle. And the reason that works out so good is that if you haven't noticed it at this point, Kevin and Rich are really brothers. They're twins. Yep. There are twin
I don't
brothers.
think on my feet as quick as Kevin does. I don't have that snappy wit.
Yeah, Kevin's very snappy. Yeah, but you've got plenty of sarcasm. You've got plenty of game. And they get along so great. And they are like brothers. And they're always together, either on the phone or online or working something out. And every time we do a show, if there's something that goes wrong or we need something done, it's always Kevin in the background making it happen. Rich here in the foreground and Kevin in the background. So it is they are the heart of this. And then Perry with his beast downstairs and his just solid, logical persona and willing to tackle whatever job needs to be done. It's a pretty formidable team, particularly with Elias' music and sense of style. And she has, her whole group that are, creating, I think the songs are a more effective presentation of what we're about than anything we say on our vlogs. So it's a pretty wonderful.
Only 327 days and 15 hours, and Kevin and I move up to fries. And that's when the big bucks come in.
That's the big bucks. That's the big bucks. We're all going to get the big bucks for 3.5 years of working vacation time. And yeah, it's going to be the big bucks. We're going to be tremendously enriched, not in monetary ways, but in every way that you can imagine. But then I have also counted, it's 1,250 days back here on duty. So can you imagine?
Tomatoes.
Man, I'm gonna have my rock and my tablet and say, okay, that was day 1, that was day 10. Oh, I only got 1,240 to go. Can you imagine that? That 3.5 years, 1,250 days on the Temple
Living
Mount.
in a tent. Living in a tent.
And talking to people that 99 out of 100 are going to want to spit in your face and kill you. Mm-hmm. And you're offering them the only way out of this alive. And you're going to be the sword that takes them out if they don't accept what it is that you're offering them. And going through that for 1,290. But can you imagine also being part of the naysayers of Israel that aren't listening? And that guy that they didn't listen to shows up, and God, he's got the jumbotron that Yahweh has above him. He's able to blow off the Dome of the Rock and Alaska Mosque. They're gone. He's got the tent of the Restoring Witness. He's got access to Yahweh's Aaron of the Bereth. He's got Malak that are holding the 2 tablets up in the air. You shoot at him, and it's like you got a force field around him. He gets mad at you and he vaporizes you. You'd think that ought to get some people's attention. It's going to be an entirely different world. And that 1,250 days.
Craig, don't look at it like that. That's only 25 Yobel.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you've got a point.
Thanks.
That's a good point. It's only 25 year bell. A walk in the park.
A walk in the park.
Well, that's softened the blow.
Yeah, I mean, I love this job, and there are days when you're doing translations and you're in, particularly Yashaya, because it takes everything I have to keep up with Yashaya, and he's really intellectually challenging, and I think that he actually wrote this to say, all right, you think you're so smart, huh? Okay, I'll put it in there. You figure it out. I'll make sure that nobody figures it out until you, and then you'll figure it out. I mean, he's going to be my bud, I think, forever, because we just think so much alike and have so much fun together. But there are days when you're translating Yashaya and it's just so exciting, and there are days when you wake up and somebody sends you an email that has, oh, look at this picture of what they how despicable they were while hashtagging your name, and you say, well, that's not a lot of fun either. And then there's days when you said, I've been telling you that Trump is the one that's going to betray Israel, and he just poos all of it over himself. And you say, what does he have to do before you're willing to accept this is true? It is an interesting life. I will tell you of that. And the most interesting of all, I think, was when we came to realize how Yah would redeploy souls. And I'm sure that blew a lot of gaskets out there.
The only way he can keep his promise.
It's the only way. I mean, it isn't just an ingenious way. It was the only way. And it was a brilliant way. And we ought to be honored that we're part of it, because in this last go, it takes a family.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Kirk, I happen to like it down there in that in your studio library. You look like the artist. You look like the scholar.
This is where I live, and when I met with Sylvia.
Yeah, I just I love you.
Backdrop.
Oh, I love you in that backdrop.
Well,
that is just so. Yeah, it's just so you. Yeah. This is where you should.
I'll give you all a tour one day. It's loaded with egg tempers over here and oils and book illustrations and all kinds.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. Yeah, you haven't been on the Call Your Witness, Next Witness, have you?
No.
Okay, well maybe they're listening right now, and they'll recruit you, because Maddie's pretty good at all this stuff, and Shannon, Shannon, he's the ultimate handshaker. They'll probably get.
Oh yeah, he was here. We had
he was
together.
here. Yeah.
So make sure you tell your wife that in this crowd we all love her. So,
well, thank you.
Sure, those people.
Yeah, she's an acquired taste, but I think we've all acquired.
I know. I was trying to steal it away so she could be my art rep in Florida.
Oh yeah, I know she'd be great.
We were having a great time.
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute, let's talk about selling art. She's sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know with Dr. Jeff.
I was that close to getting rich.
That close. There we go. I remember talking to Dr. Jeff, because when this cult decided that they would be so vicious, they came up with this line of how Leah had besmirched Dr. Jeff, and she really hated him and all that sort of thing. I said, well, that's be news to Dr. Jeff, because I don't think there's anybody, and other than your father and late mother and me, you'd be hard pressed to find more loyal, supportive, consistent friends than we have been over the years.
No, that's a lie of lies.
Yeah, we've actually been, I think, with the best kind of friends, because we've also been honest with each other when we've done things that maybe we shouldn't have done. We've been open and honest with each other, and totally supportive, and not allowed anybody to get in the way of what is an exceedingly high quality, a very deep and loving, supportive friendship.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we are close to family as you could possibly date.
Yeah, that was just pernicious nonsense, BS from a psychotic psychopath who is just, like I said, a pernicious pile of pus.
Yeah, and they don't see it.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Been an interesting shirt since shows. The reason I wore my Flames shirt here is that in the 10th chapter of Yeshaya, God's really keen on talking about how the Nahar, the Kala, the finisher, the vocal individual who shakes things up, how he as the Bashar, as the Gabor, rises out. His soul, it says specifically, his soul comes out of that blazing fire as a flaming sword, and that's the tool that God uses to rid the world of these malcontents so that he can reestablish the garden. And what he says is the garden comes after it. It is every detail that we have known to be true and more, but he's very clear that the soul that resides in this body is going to be light, energy, and fire. Not forever, but that's how the job is finished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we speak of Ashur, the Assyrian Donald Trump. He actually says that prior to sending him to Sheol, we beat the crap out of him. He's going to be suffer sevenfold for all he has done before he ends up going to Sheol. He's made some really bad choices. So with all of the vitriol that he has spewed out, all the hatred, all the lies that he's taken, he will suffer 7 times recompense before he's even dispatched to Sheol. That's in there as well. So we got our guy. It'll be interesting to watch it all play out.
Yes, sir.
Particularly on Teruah, the great day of Yahweh. Well, thank you all for participating. Thank you for listening. We'll be back again with the vlog on the vlog on Monday. Kevin, if there's any way you can get, I would love to have Depot on an episode. I'd love to have Mariah on an episode. Love to have Noah back on an episode. Love to have John back on an episode. I know it's not making many requests, but
Okay.
And then we'll have Rich as the guy in the circle. He says, "Yeah,
we'll get it done.
Yep,
keep,
we'll get it
keep
done.
on dreaming. Keep on dreaming, pal."
I'm making cameos here.
There's not a whole lot of people that want it. We've cut the show down to it's supposed to be down. It was going to be 15 minutes or 30 minutes, 2 15-minute sections, and we managed to keep it under 2.5 hours today, didn't we?
This morning we were, 2 hours and 15 minutes or somewhere around.
Oh, okay, see.
And tonight's a brief episode.
Yeah, tonight's a brief episode. Yeah, I think we actually did a Luminary series that was 56 minutes. So we're
that was an improvement.
We're trimming them down.
That was mostly we were chasing mosquitoes.
That's what
You don't mind.
Rich.
I got no problem.
Yeah,
Producers
Rich,
always knows where the bathroom is.
Yeah, Rich has a bathroom that's
yeah,
3
but I'm in
steps
the
away.
garage now.
Oh, I know it doesn't work. Okay, well, you
If I disappear, I'll be right back.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you. I'll go take a break. Shabbat shalom. Good night.
Shabbat shalom, y'all.
Shabbat, Shabbat, come home and rest. Shabbat, Shabbat, Yahweh's best. Lay down the weak, let your soul be free. Shabbat, Shabbat, come back to me. 6 days we work, then we bask. We leave the noise to hear Yah's voice. We listen, we learn, we struggle to know. We walk with Yah through the Mikra. Shabbat, Shabbat, come home and rest. Shabbat, Shabbat, Yahweh's best. Lay down the weak, let your soul be free. Shabbat, Shabbat, come back to me.